everything changed one fateful day when Settled released a video where he mentioned that he was watching my series.
Ooh.
And overnight, I went from 1,400 subscribers to 14,000 subscribers.
Overnight.
Overnight.
Jeporite, welcome to the Sae Bae cast. How are you doing today, man?
I am doing well. How are you?
I am wonderful, and I'm very excited to chat because, you know, your series, Northern UIM, had always been a series that I had heard about, and I had even watched like the first half, I think, of your first episode way back. And because there's just so much content on YouTube, I just don't feel like I was gonna really delve into it. I remember being somewhat interested, but I'm like, I just don't have the time for this. And then earlier, I think it was either late last year or early this year, I finally took the full deep delve into your series, and I was blown away by how great it was. I mean, you truly put your heart and soul into every episode, and it was a great journey. Like, I am, and you know what actually got me to rewatching it, like to start from the beginning and go, was some Reddit thread. And you know, you always see these Reddit threads that are like, what is a series I should get myself into? Like, I'm just getting back into old school. What should I watch? And your name is just always one that comes up. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm pretty sure I've checked that one out. And I don't know, like I didn't get immediately invested, but I eventually saw your name again, and it triggered something in me to be like, you know what, I should watch that again, especially because I was starting my own series. And I watched the whole thing through and I loved it. And there are certain parts that I think were just perfect, and I want to get into it, but I'm going to keep rambling on. So first off, congratulations on such an incredible series, and honestly, one of like the best in the old school RuneScape category if I had to rate it. So well done. And what I guess I haven't even asked you a question yet, but let me just like let me preface all this by like, what inspired you to even start this? And did you already have all these editing skills? Did you have storytelling skills? Like, where did all this come from? Because I swear it just all made sense first episode. That's what's mind-boggling about it, is it really does have that high quality first episode.
I'm really happy you say that, because I can't go back and look at the first couple episodes. Every time I make a new episode, like the line that I can go back to without cringing comes up a little bit. I think right now I can't really go back to anything before episode 13 or something. So it really makes me happy when you say you love the first couple episodes too.
Yeah. No, I mean, it really is like, it's impressive because when you watch anybody else's series, their first episode is like they're using Camtasia and unregistered hypercam or whatever. And it's just such a mess. But yeah, it felt like you had already got a series under your belt. That's the impression I got, was like, you've done this before.
That is not true. So this was my first real foray into YouTube. I had some very brief experience. I took a couple of film classes in high school. That's like pretty much it. What I did have was a lot of time, right? This entire series started as a COVID project. I actually made the account just after Swampletics episode 2. I was originally inspired by Verf's series, the Karamja-locked UIM. And I was like, man, this is incredible. It's such a unique way to play the game. Too bad he already did it, right? I mean, there's no other way you can make a restricted account. It's Karamja only. It's such a 1 in a million idea. And then the Settled guy came along, and I was like, huh, maybe there are other places you can do this in game.
Yeah. Let's hear about the northern section. I mean, this feels extremely arbitrary. It's like you just draw a line in the sand and you're like, all right, everything above this coordinate is good. What I mean, that in my head, I am a perfectionist, and that would not fly for me. I mean, it has flown very well and it's been received very well, but I feel like in my head, I would be like, this is not, it's too complicated, or it's like it's too confusing. It's like, even though it's not confusing, it's just like I feel
Right.
like, how do you get from this place to this place, and like why is there,
Right.
and is that going to include like Fossil? I don't even know where the fuck Fossil Island is, to be fair, but is it like northern of there? Like I don't know. I feel like there would be some weird exceptions that I'd have to keep re-explaining.
Yeah. So the idea behind this being Northern UIM, I looked at a lot of different places. I looked at the desert. This was pre TOA, so there wasn't much end game there. Um, I remember a lot of places. I think this was around the time where Turtletail started his Tehranwen only. Like there were Swampletic's really inspired a ton of different series, and I wanted to make sure mine was unique in some way. So I was looking at the Fremennik province, and I was thinking, Dagonoth Kings, not really an end game. God Wars, that could work. But the path didn't quite work out. There were a lot of like, I guess what would be considered now as like meme grinds if you're using chunk lock terminology. Um, but I realized somewhere in there that if I had access to the wilderness, I could use the lunar spellbook. I could use what's the spell? NPC contact to talk to Krystilia, and then all of a sudden I could do Slayer. And that is a skill that no other Snowflake can do, right? Because you're being told to go somewhere, and I just happen to have a region where, oh, I can do all of this wilderness slayer.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, there are. I mean, the region is by no means perfect, right? I think I took. I would consider that I took 4 exceptions. I took one from McTrials. I had to do Priest in Peril. I had to unlock Lunar Diplomacy. That was the big one. But what I'm really proud of is that there are no permanent exceptions, right? I have completed my exceptions. I'm never leaving the North again until the series is complete.
Okay, so there's a few different. Okay, so I want to know from your perspective when you're making this stuff. Like, are you worried that with these exceptions it will taint? Did you ever have any audience complaints? I know like some people, they get really hyper focused on like this is how it is, and then when you make even one exception, the whole comment section explodes with like, what the fuck are you doing? So I just wonder, did you ever experience any grief with these exceptions? I feel like you did it pretty well, but again, I wasn't watching in the moment when you've uploaded it, when it was first kind of being experienced by everybody else. I felt like I'm very late to the game, but I wonder, were there any people giving you grief for all those exceptions and vacations that you went on?
Yeah. I don't remember too much of like people giving me crap for that. I think, because they were relatively short. I mean, I literally ran my construction exception, which was just like run to the sawmill, grab a saw, and I was in and out in 30 seconds, right? I tried to, both make them fun and short. And the one that I couldn't make short was, like you said, the vacation, which I kind of framed in a very unique way. I think that episode, to give context, the premise of the episode, right, is I have to do the requirements for lunar diplomacy, which is, oh god, what are the quest requirements? It's Rune Mysteries, Lost City, Jungle Potion, and Shiloh Village, I want to say off the top of my head. And I had the idea of like weaving in this story that like, oh yeah, this is just Rune Mysteries. I'm doing this as one. It's just one little quest, guys. Don't look into it too much. And I feel like that episode has aged very well. For whatever reason, I do remember being very nervous about going forward with that episode. I always upload my videos to the Unique Iron Men subreddit, and I remember that one specifically. It was just a big exception, so I was like, you know what? Maybe we won't upload this one here.
something that kind of spoke to me a little bit was your early BA grind. You know, you're trying to get,
Oh
what was
yeah.
it? Was it the sharks or something? I think it was.
I specifically needed raw sharks for the
Yeah.
Fremenic trials.
And that was, I don't,
Super arbitrary.
yeah. It just felt like, I don't know what the drop rate was. It didn't seem super bad, but like just the fact that you couldn't really progress until you got this RNG goal. Did you ever have a moment? It sounded like in the video you had a moment where like you were about to give up. Like this is just not working
That
out.
was definitely the closest I ever got to giving up on the account.
Mm,
That was like at that point I had probably invested like 50 hours into the account. Like I would have been okay with cutting my losses there. Like if I didn't get the raw shark, like if I went triple drop rate, Northern UIM probably would have never existed.
yeah.
And I did go a little bit dry. It's a 1 in 32, I think.
Okay.
But
Not the worst. I mean, especially did you
well,
ever? I mean, it is bad because it's fucking BA. I mean, I don't blame you, but
well, what's interesting is since then my view on BA has done a complete 180.
why
I
is
actually
that?
think
What exactly happened? Because I feel like people do experience that 180 where they're like, oh, BA is actually good.
It's very simple.
Okay.
Don't do it on the public world. The public barbarian assault world is, I mean, it is so poorly designed because like half the people just want what the medium diary requirement,
Yep.
which is just complete a game,
Yeah.
which is like, okay, so you're incentivizing people to abandon their teams. A lot of people skip the tutorial, but you need a little bit there just to function and not grief your teammates by not calling. It's BA needs a little bit of help.
Yeah.
Not much. Like you don't want to insult the BA community really loves BA.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you've got speed running. There's so much weird tech that, you know, when else are you going to use a shrink me quick potion, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a really cool game. It's everyone's got their own role. It's basically Theater of Blood.
What exactly about it though is, I mean, it's clearly not Theater of Blood. I mean, it's just like not, there's something so off about it. And I've even done it with friends. Now, to be fair, my friends were not super competent, so I wasn't just like running a team with everybody has a third age bow and whatever else, or a Venator.
Right.
Do they use Venator bow now, or is it still third age?
Yeah, Venator bow shattered all of the records.
Okay.
Yeah, it is so insane there.
What did they think about that? Because I feel like the BA community is very strict about, like, I mean, they just get they're sensitive. That's the word I'm looking for. They're sensitive about any possible change. I mean, even if it's something like this little teeny thing that changed in the code that now makes it so this random stall can't work anymore or something, like it's that extreme. But yet a Venator bow comes out, and what was the response to it? I mean, I don't know if you were in that circle.
I'm definitely not like super in the loop of the BA community. But I there was definitely some backlash, but I think, I mean, the alternative is what you do, the wilderness thing where this item just behaves differently in this one specific location. I don't think that's a good solution.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the Venator bow is a really cool concept, and I think it works interestingly with BA because all of a sudden you no longer need two attackers, right? You can do different strategies if you have a Venator bow on your team.
Okay. Had that always been the meta, two attackers?
Yes, two attack. Well,
is it still?
Because attackers have, well, if you have a Venator bow, I think you can go double healer now. Because healer is the slowest roll otherwise. Just because poisoning is quite slow.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, sort of random, but like, what's your favorite roll, or what is the one you did a lot? I guess
I did
them, right?
You have to do all of them.
Yeah.
I did healer because, I mean, this was the first big grind on my account. I had like, when I first did BA, I had like 35 defense, 35 hit points.
Yeah.
Like I was
Terrible.
rolling up there with an adamant chain body and an adamant medium helm. I had to be healer so that I could just sit by the pool and not die during the queen.
Oh my god, that is awesome. I so it's funny because that first grind where it was like the closest you ever got to just quitting the account. I feel like I felt some sort of secondhandness of that with Verf's series when he started on the Korend only, or that not the Korend only. Sorry, just the Chunk Man starting in Korend.
Right, the current castle, right?
Yeah. And like that guy, I mean, he kills like, 500,000 giants and kills how many Scotizo for this. I'm just like, this is actually, you know what? That wasn't even the most psychotic. I feel like I'm drilling on Verfs just because I feel like at some point I would have just quit. I'd be like, why am I spending years potentially on just like this boring ass chunk? I feel like I would have been constantly grinding and in my head constantly battling the thoughts of like give up, like this is so stupid. But something even more extreme, actually, I want to hear if you've heard about it. Did you ever watch Agile Tom's chunk series that starts in like the Chambers of Zarek area, and he has to just full grain long Chambers of Zarek before he moves on?
I never, I didn't watch the series in its entirety. I watched a
Mm.
couple of his Twitch streams.
Okay. Well, so you know of him.
Oh yeah.
That
Well,
idea.
he's also doing Cobb now,
He's
right?
doing Tom now, yeah, and it's just like a completely fresh thing. He has to like rely on random events and shit. I'm just like, you.
Yeah,
This is psychotic. This is right here. Yeah.
I mean, the nature of YouTube in these series requires you to just keep one-upping everyone next to you. Like, I could never run an account like that.
Yeah.
I would like, I mean, I feel very lucky that I play an account that is like the perfect level for me. It's I never burn out of playing Northern UIM.
Mm-hmm.
I burn out on editing sometimes. Well, I'm sure we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is like some of the like Limport's grinds, Verf's grinds nowadays. I could never do anything like that. That's crazy to me.
Yeah. I mean, it's just I get it kind of, just because I feel like it's so satisfying to be able to present such a massive grind to your audience, but it's sort of like the sustainability of it. Like, how much can I actually do this, and will I enjoy this if this does become a sort of like a monetary thing that's helping me live? Like you don't want to start something that you really will hate after a year of doing it with RuneScape. So makes sense. And I honestly think the Snowflake vibe that kind of just struck the OSRS community several years back when everyone started making, I mean, how long ago was that? It must have been like 8 years ago or something, 9 years ago. When was Verf's Karumja only? When did that start?
Oh, that must have been like 2018, 2019.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, what's cool about Snowflakes is there really is seemingly unlimited potential. I mean, it seemed as though there was one good golden place and that was it, but now there's chunks. There's not just area restrictions. There's so many other restrictions you can make, and it feels
you've got
like
plugins now.
Yeah, and you can just cater it exactly to like your level and sort of push your limits a little bit. And I think there's just going to be limits that you didn't even realize that you were going to have to face during the series, but for the most part you can kind of just cater it down to whatever, and it still ends up being super exciting. I mean, look at Settled's new sailing series. Nothing in there is about PVM or any like crazy feat that he needs to get an Infernal Cape by the end. It's just complete this sailing stuff and it'll be like a super successful series, and it's just about the storytelling. It's about the going on an adventure. And so beyond just your experience with film and whatever else, what was your experience with like storytelling and creating something that's actually exciting and being able to fall in love with a character? Because like, what was the original name on the account? It's something weird. I know it's just Northern UIM.
Yeah, it was UIM 1116. 1116 being the
coordinates,
the latitude line that I am locked to the north of. It's just the wilderness ditch if you keep drawing it to the left and right.
Yeah.
Terrible name, right? People would just come up to me and be like, "What are you just the 1116th UIM. Like, what's going on over
God.
here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I changed that. Somebody just rang my doorbell, actually.
Do you need to check it? You can pause it.
Yeah.
Yeah, go for
Sorry.
it. Go
Can
for
you
it.
give me 30 seconds?
The Sae Bae Cast store is finally here. All your favorite creators and developers from the first 3 years of the podcast, hand drawn on a variety of high quality merchandise, including posters, desk mats, laptop sleeves, blankets, and tumblers. Buy the entire 3-year collection to frame in your gaming den, or get a desk mat and blanket for those cozy late nights. Every purchase directly supports the show and puts a big smile on my face.
Sorry about that.
Oh, all good.
That was truly bizarre. That was a guy selling HelloFresh.
Oh no, they've become like actual humans now that knock
Yeah,
on your door. That's terrible.
That's ridiculous.
That's what we get for supporting all these online things that start off just
Yeah,
online. Now we've
unbelievable.
supported them so much, they've now infiltrated the real life.
It
This is
actually
terrible.
knocked on my door.
Jesus. Yeah, we were just chatting about the names.
Yes.
Yeah.
So UIM 1116, which I named after the latitudinal line because I'm a nerd. No, Northern UIM just makes so much more sense. I don't know how I didn't think of that just at the start.
Well, I feel like you're a person as well. Correct me if I'm wrong or if I'm just not capturing this correctly. I feel like you're a person that likes the sort of this might not be the right terminology, subliminal messaging, or just like these kinds of like things where you expect the audience to have a slightly higher IQ potentially. That might sound like rude or something, but it felt like you were coming into this with a desire to tell a great story. This is not a cash grab. It's not anything like that. It's a passion project, and it's like the way you want to tell the story. And I feel like the coordinates with a name, in my eyes, sounds like a cool idea in theory, but then as you start kind of getting a broader audience and the questions start arising, it's just like, all right, how can we simplify this to not, I don't know, be so, I don't know how to describe it, but I feel like I understood your original desire to have a unique name like that.
Yes, I definitely the one. So backing up for a second, the what's the best way to so I came into this with a little bit of editing knowledge, not much. I spent a lot of time on the first episode polishing that up. I think I spent 50 hours editing it, or it was like 150 hours just editing that first one, just learning Premiere and all of that. What I didn't learn was anything about YouTube itself. How to promote a channel, how to really catch people. And I think UIM 1116 was a symptom of that. Now I've made peace with it. I look back, it's a funny tidbit in the history of Northern UIM.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what have you learned about YouTube that surprised you over the following months and years of after first publishing your first episode?
Well, I definitely learned that I'm just doing everything completely wrong, right? YouTube prioritizes consistent uploads. You want to be uploading weekly if you want your channel to grow, and that is like, and you just want to start churning things out.
Yeah. I mean,
you want to hop on trends. You want to, make eye-catching thumbnails with Mr. Beast pointing at things in the background with giant red circles. Like I could never
it's painful.
I could never find the right.
Well, let me ask. It sounds like you're about to say like I could never do that, but is it about the sort of like this is not how I want to be represented online, or is it sort of like I just didn't even know this is how you have to do it, and now I'm gonna start trying to do this? Because
for the first season, for the first 8 episodes of my series, I didn't care. right. This was a passion project for me. It was COVID. Um, I never anticipated going full time. Um, the entire, I mean, I say my series goal is to defeat every boss in the North to get a unique from all of them to fill out my little trophy room. That was not the original series of the goal. Or the series of the goal. That was not the original goal of the series. The original goal of the series was to make contacts at Jagex because I have a degree in game development and I was trying to get my foot in the door.
Do they know that?
Yes. Yeah. And what's funny is that I've done that now, right? Because I've gone to RuneFest. I've spoken with JMods. I've got JMods who have told me they love my series. So I really, what I'm trying to say is Northern UIM is done. I've accomplished my original goal, and I'm retiring.
That is funny. That, I mean, do you still feel that same desire to work, at Jagex or get into game design, or is it now about, oh, I actually like the editing and the gaming and whatever else?
So I would love to work at Jagex. I think it's a phenomenal company. I think it's so rare in the game industry to have a company that's so connected with their fan base and is able to deliver updates and uh, deliver quality updates and being able to resist the monetization plague that is crippling triple A studios.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, I love the story that I'm telling, and I'm definitely seeing it through to the end. Right.
Okay.
So do I think there's a world where I work at Jagex? Sure. But I want to finish my series first. I've the, Northern UIM changed my life. I've got friends all over the world, connections I never thought possible. And I'm, every time I release an episode, it fills me with joy. Yeah, I want to do this for at least the next couple of years.
Yeah. Do you have any plans? I mean, it sounds like ideally after the series is finished, if you could somehow get a position at Jagex, that would be like all the dreams covered, like you're good now. Do you, let's just say, there isn't an opportunity and you finish the series. I mean, what would you plan on another series? Do you have other ideas in mind when it comes to YouTube or even streaming?
People have asked me that, and I'm afraid the answer is I don't think I'm making another series after Northern UIM, and that could change. But I kind of feel like, I mean, I am pouring all this effort into Northern UIM as if it will be my only series.
That's interesting. It feels like having a series under your belt is just such good leverage, or even just sort of this confidence building thing for your now audience to start a second series. I feel like if you were to wrap this one up cleanly and not pull a Game of Thrones season 8 or whatever, season 7, whatever it was at the ending season, as long as you finish it up and it was just a beautiful ending to the story, people would be aching for a completely new project that's a series. And I don't know, man. I would not. I mean, I know you haven't written it off yet, but like I'd say that's what, like, I feel like a second series is what ends up being the legacy of something. I mean, Settled's, I think, first series kind of was just his basic UIM, and then he did Swampletics, and Swampletics is what he's really known for. But I guess you could also say Swampletics was really his first series. His other one was just like progress episodes or whatever. But I don't know. I would say don't fully write it off. It doesn't sound like you have, but I would selfishly love a second series as well. And had you ever considered like working with another editor, or even kind of really offloading a lot of that work? Because it sounds like the editing is the daunting part of it.
It's definitely it is a mental hurdle working with, I mean, other people in general, but an editor would um, it'd be tough for me. I am starting to outsource some of what I just call the busy work, just like chopping up audio, chopping up clips, that kind of stuff. But really, the creative work is where I have the most fun with it.
Mm,
Um, and I am definitely a perfectionist, and I feel like I need to have my hand on everything that ends up going out the door.
that makes sense. I wonder, you know, because I'm doing everything myself right now as a very beginning series maker, you know, with the very little experience I have with that. But what I have noticed is, yeah, like there's some parts where I want to like just like I don't really enjoy the editing that much, but once
Mhm.
it kind of starts getting completed, then I'm enjoying it. Like when I can see that like the light at the end of the tunnel of the episode, like that's where I'm like, okay, this is exciting because now I'm
Yes.
about to get it out the door. Whereas beginning, I mean, I've just started my hardcore series this year, and I'm like 3 episodes deep, working on episode 4, and I swear, like that first I want to hear from you as well, but like that first feeling of looking at an empty timeline, you're like, where do I start? Like, it's just so exhausting to like just look at it and be like, okay, like this is, I'm gonna create something, but where do I even start? Like, how do I begin this? And I guess for me, I just throw up all the clips that I have chronologically there, throw it up on the timeline, and then kind of shorten them to where I would imagine, and then start recording some audio. And like, I wonder, is that the way you do it? Is that the way others are doing this kind of thing? Like, how do you just start from scratch editing a new episode? What does that look like for you?
So uh this has evolved obviously as the series has gone on.
Mm-hmm.
What I used to do, and I'm still guilty of to some extent, was I would just hit record on OBS and I would just be like, yeah, I'll chop this up later. So I would just have like 4 hour recording blocks that I would then have to sift through later. Because I always like I would look at series people made, and they would be like, oh, I missed this drop, or I missed this moment, I missed this level, and I was like, I never want that to happen to me. That'd be terrible. Is it
Mm-hmm.
terrible? No, it's fine. It happens to everyone. But um yeah, so a lot of it is, sifting through um large blocks of footage, looking for the little snippets. And um I've gotten better at it, both with, just getting clips, setting up replay buffer. That's helped a lot.
Yeah.
um but yeah, once I have everything out on the timeline. Oh, another thing, um I forget what it's called, but you can do like marked MP4s or something, where you hit a keybind and it just puts a little marker in your MP4, so you can have like a big long media file, or a
Oh.
video file with just like little arrows pointing to specific moments.
Okay,
um
that's really cool because I do feel like there are times if I want to record an opening and I kind of want to just use a replay buffer, I'm worried because my replay buffer is set for a minute, which might be overkill for a
yeah,
lot of people, but I don't want to miss anything. But there's some times where I feel like an opening or something might be like a minute and a half, and I feel like yeah, a little flag capture thing would be amazing for that.
yeah, I think it's great for, yeah, because if you're recording something longer than a minute, I think mine's set to 60 seconds as well.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm always worried. Well, I'm always worried that I'll forget to hit the button,
Yeah, yeah.
especially if I'm, in the wilderness and somebody's PKing me, right? Like,
Yes.
I
You want to
yeah,
record
whenever
the
I'm in the
whole thing.
wilderness,
Yeah, and that could be
right?
a 5 minute excursion, you know? Like you just don't know how long that could be. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think there was actually I specifically remember a Tile Man clip, um, from Settle's channel, where he just got like the very end of getting PK'd and he missed the first. Like, I think he wasted like 40 tiles running away from somebody, and he just got
Oh,
the very. I hope he's not listening to this actually.
I don't know if I got to that part in that. I remember starting his series, the Tile Man. The Tile Man seemed way too autistic for me. I mean, I'm autistic for sure, but like that was like, dude, I mean, that would be a series where I would quit. I was shocked at how many people started a tile man after he did, like the day 2. I mean, I was just like, he
Oh
uploaded
yeah.
it and then everybody spammed a tile. I'm like, how is this the series you guys are wanting to copy? This sounds like ass. Like, and it looks bad too. Like, this was before you could have your character like above the tiles.
Oh right.
So everything just looked like a fucking circus. I'm like, this is eyesore like material.
I
I'm
think there
not
was
into this.
also, I don't know if it was a memory leak or something with the Tileman plugin, but you got to a certain point where you had so many tiles that your entire game would just be lagging.
God, dude. Yeah, hell nah. That ah, that those are the restrictions that are way too tight and almost just like annoying to play. That does not sound fun at all.
Yeah. My my idea behind good restrictions, and I had this problem with, what was it, Shattered Relics League as well, throwing that in from left field. I like a series that doesn't end with you having access to everything,
Mm,
right? Because at the end of Tile Man, you have so many tiles that like you can just go anywhere.
yeah.
I mean, not like really, but everything does get easier as the series progresses.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
What does make it good then? Is it just the fact that you still feel this resemblance of what the original restriction was and you didn't go too far out? I mean, I feel like Chunk Man's the whole purpose is to sort of explore the entire game.
right.
So is that necessarily a bad restriction kind of, or is that sort of the objective? I mean, how would you consider a Chunk
Well,
Man that?
I wouldn't consider. I think bad restriction is a little harsh.
Mm.
I think it's, in my eyes, I'm less interested in the series that get easier as you expand.
Okay.
Right.
So you wouldn't consider that being easier though with a chunk man, because it feels like you have death chunks that are just pure hell and you never want to actually roll them. It's more like the tile man that you're kind of relating to, where it really just does end up feeling like the normal game at a certain point.
Honestly, Chunkman feels so bizarre to me because everything is a die roll, right?
Yep.
Yes, you're expanding your map. Yes, things are getting easier, but it's like you're playing Tile Man with a bunch of landmines around you.
Yeah.
And you can't plan a route through them. You just have to hope you roll the dice and you don't roll onto one of them.
Yeah.
I
you know what? Let me
I would
just
never play a chunk man. I can't do that.
let me cross.
I like to be in control of my destiny.
I mean, you could play a chunk band where you do have control. I mean, imagine a chunk band where
That is true.
Where you select the next. I mean, to be fair, whenever I see anybody doing I feel like they do a pretty good job, Limport and Verf, of their chunk rolls being live, and I very, very highly doubt they're faking it all, or just
I don't think they'd ever do that.
Yeah, they don't seem like those people, but I can see a chunk series where that could be abused, and why not just get rid of all that and just say, I'm choosing the chunk. Like, I'm choosing my own path. Whatever's connected to this one, I'm gonna choose this one.
Well, I think at that point you're just playing big tile man.
Yeah, but at least there's more strategy to it rather than like, okay, right. I kind of want to make this little path around here. There's gonna be some death chunks kind of on the way, but it'll make more sense once I circle around here. Let me cross this by you. This sounds so stupid, but it just came to my head when I was kind of combining both Tile Man and Chunk Man. What if there was Radius Man mode? So you start on one tile. You have one tile, and then when you gain maybe a certain amount of XP or a level or something, your radius expands to now a 3x3 tile. So it expands odd numbers outward, so it's like an even kind of square around your character. So you start in Lumbridge. You have one tile. You can just barely pickpocket a man. You get level 2, and then your thing increases by a 3x3 square, and then it just keeps expanding outward from Lumbridge, and then it keeps going outward like a circle. I mean, it'll be a square, but actually it could be a circle technically if you
could.
What do you
like a Minecraft circle?
What do you think about that? Is that a good idea, like based on your version of restrictions? Is that just no, that is just silly?
I mean, it's definitely. I mean, all these accounts are silly. Let's be real.
Yeah. Would that be fun though, or is that just like, okay, you know that every level now at this point is just meaningless because your map is already a 7,000 by 7,000 square thing? Like, what's even the point at this point? Like, would that be just a failed?
I I think starting that in Lumbridge would be a huge wasted opportunity. I think you would want to start it in a place where you have challenges early on that aren't so simple. But I can't think like I can't think off the top of my head like where would be a good location to draw a circle.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on like? Oh, you know what is shocking actually is how Caveman Only's series. I mean, I feel like that was truly the OG one. That was like a Reddit series.
That was,
you remember that?
yes, that was well, I don't have any recollection of any series before his.
Yeah.
And it was his was very much just progress log. Like, look at these screenshots that I took, and I think he wrote up like a little blurb next to each of them. But
yeah,
that was it.
That was cool. That was really cool. I would love if somehow Caveman Only made a return to the scene. I know I had talked to him on the cast and we were pretty close on Twitch and stuff, and he just said like he was just burned out of editing mostly. Like he put so much time and quality into his videos without the payout he felt like would be not like deserving, but just that would warrant all that time being put in, basically like justifying the work he's putting in for like the outcome. And it just wasn't really working out for him. And I wonder how many other people feel that way, where they want to put in all this time and then their videos just aren't doing that well, or they don't have sponsorships. I know you haven't taken any sponsorships.
That is not true. As of my last video,
okay,
I am sponsored.
Let me hear this side, because this is the interesting part. Because sponsorships, if we look 10 years ago, if you put a sponsorship in your video, that was considering like tainting a video. Like, what are you doing? You're selling out,
right?
But these days, it is absolutely normalized. It's fully normalized, totally accepted. It's like, get that bag, bro. What was your thoughts on it originally, and what made you sort of decide that this is the route you want to take?
So I originally never really considered it because, again, passion project. I'm not doing this full time. Everything changed one fateful day when Settled released a video where he mentioned that he was watching my series. Ooh. And overnight I went from 1,400 subscribers to 14,000 subscribers.
Overnight.
Jesus
Christ.
And then somebody else just rang my doorbell.
Go check it.
I swear to God, if this is like Manscaped.
Oh no.
I've moved here 6 months ago. And I've never had solicitors. It was more HelloFresh people.
Oh my God. Was it like the same
sweeping? It was.
They must have had a fan just dropped it off in your neighborhood. Like, all right, go knock on every door.
And they like didn't coordinate the routes.
Yeah. Oh no. It's so funny because earlier in the, like right before we were recording, I was like, yeah, somehow I'm going to bait you into doxing your address. And I swear it's like actually coming to fruition right now. There's going to be a third doorbell ringing. Oh my God.
I'm not answering the third one.
All right. Okay. So the Settled thing boosted your channel to 14,000.
Oh, yes.
Basically, order of magnitude overnight, which is wild.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, I had to make the decision, like, can we actually do this, right? Because at the time, I was, I had a job as an audio engineer for, actually, an old professor of mine was working on a game, so I was helping them with that, and it was like, I was doing that, but also I wanted to devote more time to the videos. And I kind of just didn't make a decision for a while.
Mm,
Um, and I didn't feel like, well, I didn't feel like I should take sponsors if it's not my full-time gig,
mm,
right? And even when um, that project ended and I had a lot more time to devote to Northern UIM, I still didn't feel like it was right for the series. Like I was going for more of like an artistic angle, and I didn't know where I would fit them in. So I when I finished my second season, after episode, what was it, 20, um, I posted like a Q&A video where I just rambled. There aren't a lot of like spots in my video. I feel like my videos are very like tightly edited, and there's not a lot of spots for me to just ramble about non-video things.
mm-hmm.
So I posted just like an extra, like, hey, I'm going full time. These are my thoughts, answered some questions. And in it, I said, um, there's the question of sponsorships. I'd love to. I really don't want to put sponsors on Northern UIM videos because they're kind of special to me. But I might do variety videos, other RuneScape related topics, and on those videos they might have sponsors. And I kind of asked people what they thought about it, and it was just like a very small section in like a 8-minute video, and 97% of the comments were like, you are being stupid. Take the sponsors. And I got DMs from other creators being like, dude, what are you doing? Take the sponsors.
Yeah.
I'm like, I think the attitude towards these has changed a little bit.
It 100% has, and there's like good reason for it. I mean, there's a difference. I started content creation on Twitch, and sponsorships on Twitch are much more sort of, I don't know. It feels like they're interrupting the stream a lot more rather than a video where it is just one segment. It's just like, here it is. It's in the first couple minutes of the video. Here's your 45-minute segment of an ad. Whereas Twitch, it always felt a little dirtier. Like, okay, now try to get your whole audience to buy or to download Raid Shadow Legends and get to level 10 on the account. And
Yeah.
you're going to make money every time you do that. And I'm sure there's probably a similar incentive maybe on YouTube. I don't even know if there is, like, based on downloads or whatever. But on Twitch, that's all it's about. It's just like, here's a little chunk of money and then however many downloads you get. So you end up being their sales bro. And I remember even having one of the worst sponsorships I ever took was Fission. It was like this energy drink company that was just like a circlet water bottle or whatever those things are called, with just like flavor packets you install into like the lid. And I thought it was a cool product, but dear God, I mean, it was just, everyone you sell is how much you're going to make. And also send us clips of every single time you talk about us. You need to do it 3 times every stream. Send us all the clips you send afterward, and we'll review them and make sure that you're like nailing the points that we told you to do. And it's like, okay, I am not your salesperson. And it is, I have not taken a sponsorship on Twitch in maybe like 2.5 years at this point. But the last one I took, I was like, I'm done with, like, this is just, it's so obnoxious. I feel like somebody's puppet. And then on top of that, sponsorships are getting worse and worse and worse for Twitch. I mean, it's gotten to the point where they realized they not like that they were overpaying, but they realized that they could underpay so heavily because streamers are so desperate for any bit of like sponsorship or anything. So it's at the point where, I would get paid $500 or $600 just base pay to promote Raid Shadow Legends, and then $25 every download that hits a certain number, which is great. And now it's like, okay, you make nothing to do this. We're still going to require you to do all these things, and now you're only going to make like $8 every download or something because we can, and you're still going to take it. And it's just pathetic. Whereas YouTube, it has never felt dirty, really, unless you're promoting like some drug or something weird, or I feel, or gambling. Then it gets a little shady. But.
Right. Yeah. I'm very selective with the companies I take. I mean, I do research. Companies. I've my last video is sponsored by boot.dev, and I think they have a solid product.
Yeah.
I have another sponsor lined up. I think they're similarly good. I've actually had their products before.
Mm.
I mean, I'm to me, the worst case scenario is getting involved with a company like, what was it, Established Titles or Honey, things
Oh
that are like
God, yeah.
actively scams.
Stake.com. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's just gambling. That's just
Yeah.
blood money.
Yeah. I still remember when a friend just did that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that was
that was
ballsy.
a choice.
Yeah. Um okay, so yeah, I mean, I am on along the same lines. I feel like taking a YouTube sponsorship, it makes so much sense for so many reasons. Not only does it secure you as the creator able to like sort of make this your livelihood, especially at your point where, if you put a sponsorship on your videos, if it gets 100,000 views, I mean, that's good money. It is
Yeah.
for a sponsorship, especially if it can be a reliable kind of stream of that. And it's almost like, why not take it other than just you sort of in your own head tainting your passion project? But ultimately, isn't it a section you can I don't actually know how sponsorships works. I've never had one on YouTube, but is it like an inserted clip, or do you actually bake it into the actual video file itself? Because I wonder if it was like a promotional sort of thing where it lasts like, oh, the first 100 people to download this get something. Can that be taken away after a couple of years? Like, can sponsorships be removed later date, or is it like finalized in the product until the end of time?
I assume that you can't remove them. I've
Okay.
never asked about that, but that wouldn't make too much sense to me. It is something that I mean, I edit I edit my own sponsors. I put them. I can choose roughly where to place them in the first couple minutes of the video.
Hmm.
Um, I've settled that like I, I've settled on. I always have a cold open at the start of the video. It's usually like a little silly scene or something, and then I have my season intro, which is 15 seconds of music, and then a 1 minute ad segment. I think is reasonable.
Mm-hmm.
It does push back the content of the video a little bit more, um, which is a sacrifice that I have accepted at this point.
Now, do they allow you? Is it just? I mean, I'm sure it's just based on the sponsorship you're taking. Do they allow you to say the sponsorships I appreciate the most are like huge channels will do this. Like I think like Veritasium does a great job of like saying this video is sponsored by this more at the end, and then you get the full thing, and you almost feel
Mhm.
respected by the creator to say, hey, like this was sponsored, like we could make this video because of the sponsorship for paying us, and check them out at the end. And the fact that both the sponsorship and the creator are willing to respect you enough to put it all at the end is like almost psychologically like you kind of want to just like listen up a little bit more at the end potentially, unless you just don't have the time for it, but it feels more respected in some way. And I wonder, do you have that option, or is it always like, no, it just performs better if you put the sponsorship here and we're going to pay you more to just put it in the first couple minutes?
I think it's something that larger channels get a chance to negotiate for.
Okay.
But
But there is
typically,
no negotiation really. It's just this is the contract, do this, and there's really not so much freedom as just an independent creator.
uh, I mean, at my channel size, I do not feel like
You have
um,
leverage to be
I
like,
right. Well, but I also just feel grateful that I am getting these sponsors, and I can make this my full time gig now.
do you feel like you would be a person? I mean, the fact that you enjoy the independence of editing it all yourself, having that sort of perfectionist mindset, do you also see that similarly with sponsorships? Like, do you ideally see you dealing directly with the company that you're making a sponsorship with, or are you okay with kind of like not the full pay because you're having a middleman sort of negotiate everything? Like, are you fine with that when it comes to your own kind of creative style?
Uh, that is an area that I have no expertise in. I
Okay,
am fully happy with a middleman helping me out there.
nice, interesting. Okay, let me kind of switch gears a little bit, unless you had anything else
Mhm.
to talk on that topic. But
I don't think so.
let me just ask you about the importance of unique restrictions. So we were kind of talking about this a little bit earlier about
Mhm.
just how snowflakes have arisen just in the old school community and stuff, and what makes a good one and what doesn't, like clear rules and whatnot. But like, how important really is it to even have a snowflake vibe in general? So the reason I kind of ask this is, I have started a hardcore series. It is very basic. There's no real restrictions. Just play how I want, and eventually get like a max infernal and a max quiver and whatever else. Just like the basic sort of like 3 capes that are max variants. And it feels very basic. And I just wonder, like, and for this series, it's really, I feel like at this point, seeing it now, 2 months in, I'm thinking, okay, like, this is sort of my beginner series. This is me trying to get my the ball rolling, kind of, and just learning editing and all this stuff, and how to storytell and how to pace things well. And I didn't want to add like more to it, like more restrictions that could like kind of draw this out way too long. Like I would love to just be able to finish a series and then be like, ooh, okay, now I understand the ingredients to make it way more successful. And so how important is a spin to a series, so like some form of snowflake, but not only that, but how important is it to do your own unique spin on it? So it's not just a copycat of a chunk man. And yeah, I mean, I guess in regard to success on YouTube, how important is that?
Oh, well, success on YouTube is not my strong suit.
You did
But
pretty
I will
well. I don't
say,
know. I feel like you've been even though a lot of luck has kind of come your way, at the same
right,
time,
right.
that luck came because of a successful series. That's
I guess that's fair. Um, at least for playing the account, I can speak. I think having unique restrictions forces you to come up with your own strategies, right? RuneScape is such a solved game at this point. Like we know the metas for everything.
mm-hmm.
But if you don't have access to 90% of the game, all of a sudden those metas don't apply to you. So you need to do your own research, figure out uh what's in your restrictions, to quote someone smarter than me, forging your own path. um I think that's the core of a good snowflake. And I I mean, I'm sure that logic extends outside of the snowflake circle as well. I mean, you just want to do something unique and I guess interesting to you. And I think that should, in theory, reflect to your audience as well.
Mm. Because like it really feels like you really can't get much success with well, I take it back. You can if you're just a really popular creator already. Like I feel like Bodhi can make a default hardcore Iron Man series, follow the meta, and that becomes a total banger of a series,
Right.
because he's very
Oh,
established.
100%. But
Whereas
that series isn't
yeah.
succeeding because it's the series. It's succeeding because he's Bodhi and people love him because he's Bodhi.
Yeah.
He can make a story out of anything.
Yeah. Okay, so there's it just feels like for a new creator of doing what Bodhi's doing, just content wise, not the personality, not the notoriety, not the channel size already, it would not really land as well because it's just a very basic, no uniqueness. Like, would you agree with that? I feel like
I think it would be very difficult to get any traction.
yeah.
Although I think it would, at least on YouTube. I think on Twitch,
Mm,
with a face cam, I think a lot more of your personality immediately shines through.
true.
I think that, I mean, I had the experience of starting on YouTube and expanding to Twitch, but I think if you're not able to devote a ton of time to like the behind the scenes, the editing, the storytelling, the snowflake crafting, if you will, I think Twitch would be an easier path.
Mm, I would probably agree with that. Yeah, I feel like there does have to be some uniqueness. Now, let me touch on something that you do in your series, and I wonder where it came from because I'm starting to notice other creators doing it, namely, and I could be wrong on this, to be fair, it could not be the same thing, but I feel like Settled is kind of doing this new thing where there's like off the scene characters kind of, or like not in the actual journey
I
itself, but how do you?
I did notice that in his
Yeah,
previous,
yeah,
in his most recent
yeah,
video.
yeah. And so I'm wondering now. Okay, he watched your series clearly. And you did something pretty early on where you now have these sort of like out of the actual episode characters that are kind of narrating and having their own little dialogues. And there's like the PKers and
Right.
you're gonna have to go through the list of these. But where did this come from? And it is a great, it's like extra element to character development, but not only that, but just to the story at whole. Like there's different perspectives now instead of just a one, oh, here's my guy, this is what he's doing. There's like a broadening of the storyline. I just wonder, where did that come from for you? Did you notice it in other I don't know, films or whatever, and you're like, oh, I want to somehow implement this? And I love that you also noticed it with Settle, because I feel like he's kind of leaking that in there. And now I'm thinking in a series, I'm like, shit, like I kind of want to do something like that. I wonder how much effort really is at play though in order to kind of create these characters that are not actually a part of it.
So the first time I did it, I introduced two PKers. This was an episode 5 of my series, so very, very early on. Um, I introduced two characters that just out of left field. Um, the easiest comparison is they are Team Rocket.
Yeah.
That's the role they play
yeah.
in the story. They are two goofballs that are plotting against me as a UIM. They came into existence because the episode was just the progress video was fundamentally flawed, because when I first started playing on the account, I just wanted to play on the account. I wasn't thinking about, how would this look in a YouTube video that I wasn't even sure I was going to make at that point. So I was my goal at the time was to get into the wilderness. I was stuck in, I had access to Relica, I had access to Birthorpe. And I needed to go, I wanted to expand my area into the wilderness. But there was no Ferox Enclave yet. That hadn't been added to the game, so I couldn't minigame teleport. So I had two options. I could get a games necklace, which required 40 smithing and 7 magic, which smithing, my best method was like, I think I was buying ore from Yatizo and smelting it in Relica. And then my magic was I had to grind like Birthorpe citizens for mind runes. I had no good method to train magic, but my agility method was there was another way to get in, taking the shortcut from Trollheim with like 66 agility. Do I really want to do that on the Barbarian Outpost course? And what I did at the time was I just went back and forth. Like I couldn't make up my mind. And it was almost like nauseous. It made me nauseous to watch it, because I had a goal to get into the wilderness, but there were two paths and I kept flip-flopping back and forth. And I'm like, how the hell am I going to tell this into a cohesive story?
Mm-hmm.
And my solution was like, okay, this is not cohesive. It's never going to be cohesive. There's no way to make this cohesive. Let's tell this story from the perspective of two people waiting for me in the wilderness, ready to kill me. And they're also just going back and forth with me, trying to make sense of what the hell is happening here.
It's genius, though. I mean, was it like you thought the idea and then it was instantly like a light bulb above your head, or was you like, oh, like maybe this can work kind of, and you just dealt with the reception later?
I I had the idea. I was like, this is cool. It's it's a unique solution to a problem, and I think it enhances the video. I think it's I was really happy with it when it went out.
Yeah.
Um, I did expect a positive response. Part of the success goes to my friends who graciously and continually lend me their voices. I did a lot of theater in college, so I'm very lucky to have a bunch of actor friends.
Yeah, they
Um,
are very talented. I mean, you as well. I mean, I feel like you're very good at enunciating every single word, which goes a long way, believe it or not. I feel like a lot of people that don't have any sort of background in like any sort of performance arts don't understand how much that can really play with that, like not mumbling your words. And then the voice actors you've gotten to participate in your videos are also just amazing at it, and they have very good microphones, and it's like, okay, this is not just some budget thing where you're making up voices and like, I
right?
don't know, it's just it landed very well in my eyes.
Yeah. I'm very happy it landed well. Um, it 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 somehow surpassed my expectations because all of a sudden people wanted these characters to come back.
Mm.
And I had just written them for one episode. I wasn't expecting them to,
Oh wow.
ever become recurring characters. Um and all of a sudden that was my thing. That's what I did in my videos.
I mean,
It,
it's so cool because it adds extra depth to everything. It's crazy how much like adding more characters that have personalities just adds so much, and I feel like that can be
right.
just missing completely in RuneScape series. You're just dealing with one character, and he's just kind of like this drone that's doing his next task. Uh,
Yeah.
so
The
yeah.
it, I definitely took inspiration from like the great machinimas of old, like Tanoob Show.
Mm,
Um, I like to sprinkle a little of that in there as well.
yeah, yeah. It's great. It's great stuff. So where I mean, do you think, because now that I'm seeing Settle do it, and now that it's coming in my eyes, like I'm thinking more of like, okay, how can I, maybe not for this series, but how can I like implement some sort of extra characters in another series? And I think this is my prediction. I could be off on this, but I feel like as soon as Settled really nails down on it, give it a few more episodes of these side characters coming into play, we're going to start seeing a flood of them in all series. And I'm going to give credit to you for having started it, really. And I think, I don't know, I see it as like an essential part now to storytelling. I can even see maybe a Torvesta video coming out where like he's
Interesting.
PKing, and now all of a sudden the PKer he's about to fight has a personality to him, and he's going to have some sort of dialogue beforehand. Who knows? I mean, I just feel like in regards to entertainment with YouTube series, this seems like a gold mine. Like, why not do it? It seems easy. It doesn't feel like you need to actually put any progress into it. It's just have good voices and have just make characters that are fun and goofy that are just on the side.
I I don't think it's as easy as it looks.
It's probably not, because you've
Um,
made everything look so fucking smooth and easy. I have a clip in mind, by the way. So I'll let you continue on this right now. But there's something I need to bring up with just how smooth you make things feel. Where I am in my editing program, and I have a similar idea. I'm like, nope, this is just not functioning. This is terrible. So
I mean, I just feel like I'm in a unique situation where I have access to a bunch of actors. Um,
mm,
I think without all of the help I've gotten, it would not have worked.
okay.
Right? I mean,
Let me just.
you
I just want to
you
cross
need
this.
solid support to make it happen.
Yeah. I just want to cross this by you. I mean, do you think
Mhm.
it would be possible to do something like that if it had only been your voice? Like, do you think you would use voice changing software or something to do it yourself? Or do you, at that point, would you just be like, no, it's not worth it? It's just, I'm not even going to do this. Do you feel like the talent that you had
Um,
connections with already was the essential piece?
it I think you can only go so far with, I mean, people do that all the time, you know, doing a different voice to, um, you know, play a different character. I feel like I've seen that in a bunch of different videos, but I think if you're having recurring characters and like subplots, I think that as you expand the scope of it, you need to expand the, I guess, production budget as well.
Yeah. Okay. I'm glad you do say though that it's much more difficult to pull off than it is just watching and be like, oh yeah, anybody can do that. You know, like it's that easy, and making it cohesive as well. Yeah.
I mean, I'm in the middle of the trenches working on the scenes for next video. So
Oh my god.
I don't know if you saw, but I had I put out a casting call a couple weeks ago.
Yes, I saw that post on YouTube.
I've finally exhausted my reserve of theater friends.
Yeah, I was gonna say the few handful of them that are in your audience now, they're all cleared out. Did you get people reaching out like that were actually talented?
I mean, I am so incredibly grateful. I got 71 responses.
Oh my god.
I mean, it took me like 4 or 5 hours to listen to all of their auditions, and yeah, I mean, I've
Wow.
cast 2 people so far. I think I have 2 more that I've yet to reach out to, but
that is cool.
And the 2 people I've worked with so far, both phenomenal. I mean, they really put a lot of passion into it, and I'm very grateful.
That's so cool. Are you the one writing the scripts?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I write all of them.
That's so cool, man. Have they ever offered input or done like kind of gone off the script a little bit and it ends up working out, or are they just very good at doing exactly what it says?
I think everyone has changed lines to fit their voice, and I think maybe 80 to 90% of their changes are better.
Okay, that's awesome, man. Okay, this is you probably already can guess what I'm about to say, but that LMS scene of you're doing your first game of LMS is, I mean, pure gold. That was so masterfully executed. However you made that, the pacing, the timing, the rewinding, the like zooming in on everything you're doing, and just how goofy it all really was. Because honestly, LMS games are fucking goofy at the beginning. Every single one is pretty damn goofy. Like nobody knows who's attacking who, and it's just kind of this mess. And if you're playing an Iron Man and you're not, if you're a pussy like me, you're turning off all your attack styles and stuff, so everything's fucked up, and then your gear is all messed up. And so it was just so masterfully done in my view, because I didn't even know really what to expect. I mean, I was watching this thing, and then as you go in and start detailing every little bit that goes terribly wrong, and you flicking on Eagle Eye when Rigger is right there, it's just like the goofiest thing. It's like I am genuinely, like, for those that have not watched your series, I'm gonna put a timestamp down in the description right now. So if you're like just curious and you don't want to put in the time to just browse through the whole series and find this scene, I'm going to link it down below and just watch this. I mean, it is just pure comedy gold. And the way I mean, the best part about like a video is the fact that like you can go in afterward and narrate it perfectly to the point where like, if it was just a live recording, it would have been funny and whatnot, but it wouldn't have captured exactly how you're feeling in those moments. And I feel like rewinding it, going into great detail, is just hilarious. It's just like, I could not breathe for like probably 15 seconds because I was so shocked at how funny it was. And I was just chilling at night playing RuneScape on the side, and I'm just watching this and I could not breathe. And I'm like, okay, there is something here. There's a formula here that if you can do what Jeporite just did right here, I mean, this would just be banger after banger. If you could somehow encapsulate exactly the pacing of all of this. I feel like the pacing really has so much to do with executing this properly, of like hitting those funny notes and like lingering on them, if that makes any sense. Like, how did was it just an accidental thing that it all kind of came together, or was there meticulous planning on everything going into the scene? Because I imagine that took a while.
Oh yeah, I mean, I went into that LMS game and I was like, all right, we gotta turn off our attack options beforehand. We gotta make sure that we click the wrong prayer. No,
Not that. I mean the after fact of like editing this. I mean, clearly the recording was purely organic. I mean, this was just you going to try to get your fucking points, and it just ended up being hilarious.
I don't remember playing the game. I mean,
you were blacked out like, the whole time.
I saw the clip, you know, as I was combing through probably a 3-hour block of footage, and I was looking at it and I'm like, man, I was so bad at this back then, because at that point I had improved, right? This was, you know, probably a 6-month-old clip, but I'm like, there's no way I was this bad. I was this bad. I did everything wrong. How many things did I do wrong? And I just started like counting every little different thing that I screwed up. I'm like, everyone else needs to see this.
Yeah.
Everyone else needs to know mathematically just how garbage I was at this.
And the best part was, as far as I'm aware, it's been a few weeks now since the save, but I'm pretty sure you actually won that fight, which is I just did win that perfect. Fight. It's just the cherry on fucking top, and the guy's just like lucky, but he spells it wrong, and it's just like everything was perfect comedic timing. It was just great.
I remember editing that clip, and I could not stop laughing while I was editing it.
Oh my god, dude! Like. And the craziest part is this had happened 6 months earlier, and I kind of can already feel that because I have footage now stockpiled from a month ago, and even a month now I'm like, fuck, like what was my plan for this? Like there was some sort of, so I have to like title my clips very strategically to kind of remember now, and I'm doing a little bit more detail in the actual like clip names, but man, I mean, going back 6 months to edit a clip, that for me, if I had seen that, I would have been like, whatever. I'm just gonna like skip over this whole part and just be like, LMS done. Like we're done with it. We finished it. Whereas I think lingering on funny parts and just, I mean, seriously, putting like a 3-minute segment of something that you are slowing down time at this point. I mean, you're reversing it. Whereas most progress series are like, here's 70 hours of stuff in 2 minutes. Like this was like, no, we're going to linger on this moment. And I think more of that really does add so much to production value. Just adds that extra element of like fun. When you're watching the video, you get sucked into it more. It's not just like, oh, the next scene is him getting this next level. All right, like when can I leave this video kind of? And I think the way you've somehow just made content out of such a small section of footage and made it just hilarious, and probably the most memorable clip out of the whole series in my view is just impressive. So well done on that. That was just wonderful.
Thank you.
And thanks for putting in the time to do that, because that's a treat for the, like, you putting in all that time is a total treat. Like, it's not like, I know you probably had fun with it, but like, you putting in that time, like that inspires me to do similar things if I could, you know, like I would want to treat my audience as something just hilarious like that. So yeah, well done.
Thank you. I do think that those little moments, I mean, it's like you said about the Settled's new sailing series. It's not about the big spectacles. Like, I mean, we've gone so insane with the grinds that people have done. There's definitely still opportunity within the little moments to get brilliant content. And sure, it's not the most impressive. It could be the opposite of impressive. But I mean, I maintain that Northern UIM is a comedy series that pretends to be a UIM progression log.
that really is how it feels, though.
Yeah.
Had you ever? I have one. Actually, let me let me ask this thing second. The first thing I wanted to ask was basically like, do how important is it to not take yourself seriously? Because I feel like that is another thing where if you're recording a series, you have free reign over making yourself seem pretty fucking competent at the video game if you wanted. You don't have to, especially if you're not live streaming at all. It's just a series. Like, you can make yourself seem very talented at the video game. Just just record the clip or just show off the clips that make you seem competent. But with this, you went the full reversal of like, look how bad I really can be, and I'm just gonna linger in this and milk it, and just show you guys. And I feel like there's something almost trustworthy about that. Like, I gained a trust in you as a creator because of your vulnerability. Like, to show, even, I mean, it even goes further than that, because the fact that you had recorded all the 6 months after the fact and you've already improved, who would want to show how bad they used to be 6 months ago? And I feel like you being able to treat the audience as something that fully puts you in a vulnerable position and makes a laughing stock out of you and just the scene in general is just perfect. I mean, it's just, nothing could have gone better than that in my view. It gave me more trust in your content as well. Like, it made me want to finish the series. Like, if nothing else, it was like, okay, I want more of that. And if there's anything more in that in the next several episodes that I'm still catching up on, like, this is just going to be great.
Well,
Yeah, I'm not even sure what the question was in that. I fit it in somewhere, but it was something like, how important is it to not take yourself seriously, really?
Well, I think that it'd be a lot harder to show that I am competent, because
but you don't have to like
go
out of your way to show how incompetent you are. I feel like that's the.
Why wouldn't I? It was hilarious.
No, but I feel like the natural response would be to not show this off. Like, I want to show off the skilled clips, the things where I do get the great kills. You know, like, why would I want to show off me like misflicking and all this other crap?
But that comes later, right?
That's true.
I mean, I because then I had an LMS montage 8 episodes later where I do get some cool kills, and there's still some nonsense in there, but but I mean, it is a progression series, right?
Yeah. No, that's a good way to look at it.
We need to progress, and more than just the numbers on our stats screen.
Yeah. Okay, let me ask this now. So that, in my view, was the funniest part of your series. Let me ask for you, what was your favorite part of the series so far that maybe even went overlooked by the audience, or something that you were just like, that was perfect, or you anticipated it being perfect or whatever, and maybe it didn't land quite as well, or even if it did land well, like, what was your favorite part in editing the series?
Well, at that point, it was definitely that. That's a really tough question.
And let me actually add one more thing to it as you think. What was a part of the series that took you the longest to actually create? Like, you know, I've imagined a bunch of edits, maybe voice acting involved and everything else. Like, what was the thing that took you the most hours? I mean, it sounded like your first episode took, what, 150 hours, you said, just learning the software and everything?
Yeah.
What was the longest segment?
Well, the longest episode was definitely the season 2 finale. It was like an hour long, and it had several different scenes in it. It might have been the opening scene to that, which was Ferox's backstory.
Okay.
Ferox, in the lore, basically no backstory, right? He's described as an ex-Zamorakian. He moved to the wilderness at some point, and I wrote him a backstory because he was a character in my series and he needed something behind him, right? I think honestly, what probably took me the longest, it's something that I haven't utilized to its fullest potential yet, but between seasons 2 and 3, so between episodes 20 and 21, I did a lot of work learning Blender, and I developed a lighting system within Blender that mimics as close as I possibly can to actual old school RuneScape lighting. And
Mm,
I've started to incorporate that just for little bits that you just can't do in the old school RuneScape game engine.
mm,
Um, things like uh, making my ranger hat from Barbarian Assault blink.
okay.
It's not something that like is super flashy, but it's another tool in my tool belt, if you will, of tricks that I can pull out at any given episode. Um, while I'm saying this, I am stalling and trying my best to think of a moment that I
Yeah.
like the best.
No, I mean, it sounds like you just do put a lot of effort into it. I guess I'm wondering because I consider myself somewhat a perfectionist. I feel like I'm a lazy
Mhm.
perfectionist where I can kind of just ignore certain things and it ends up being trash. But the things I do focus on, I want them to be perfect. Do uh do you feel like sometimes you spend too much time on something that really ultimately will feel irrelevant to the audience?
Every
So
single episode.
yeah.
Yep.
What do you think is the worst
Um,
offender?
I mean, I do things like if there's like nonsense in the chat box that like somebody in public chat was saying, I hide that.
Ooh, okay. Like just with an overlay of just a basic plain thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like I freeze the chat box before they said it. Right.
Oh,
Like
okay.
things like that. Or like um sometimes like I edit in a shot of my looting bag where when I'm not actually looking at the looting bag, just so people can, you know, remember what's in my looting bag.
But I mean that
Um,
is a part for the audience. I mean, you're doing that for the audience. Is there anything that's
right.
just really not? It's
Oh,
just kind of
just
your
for
own
me.
perfectionist. Like nobody's gonna notice this, but I notice it, and I'm gonna be bothered by this if I leave it in.
Yes. In certain scenes, close-up scenes, I there are some other creators who do this, but I do draw in the missing nose polygon sometimes.
Dude, I almost did that on my thumbnail last one. Legit, and I couldn't make it look right though. It kept looking like fucking Winnie the Pooh nose or something. I just could not filling it in just was not working. It just looked uncanny. It would almost looked better
Yeah.
with the thing. I'm like, this is odd. That is so hilarious.
No, I do that sometimes.
Why does it do that? Like, oh,
It's only certain hairstyles too that it's
okay.
missing the nose picks. I mean, it's because the RuneScape camera was never intended to look up from that angle.
Yeah.
Like we have plugins that expand the pitch of your camera nowadays.
Yeah. And we
And
didn't
I
have
think
GPU either. I think GPU may be
right.
one of the factors in that. Yeah.
Um yeah, I'm just looking at my character now
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah. Lowering the pitch all the way. I mean, there's even a part of me that wishes that with that camera plugin that you could lower it even more. There's some areas that just force you to
oh yeah.
go up to 45 degrees, and I'm like, damn, I wish I could just go underneath the earth in this little segment.
Yeah, I mean the issue is that the game is not built for that and
Yeah.
things are not textured from below.
Yeah. Okay, let me switch gears entirely now and talk about just RuneScape in general. What was or what is your history with RuneScape? I mean, it sounds like you did play it back in the day based on, you watching Tanoob show and stuff. So what was your
Yes.
what has been your experience, and was COVID the thing that kind of brought you back into the game? Were you already playing it? Let's take the journey.
I was playing it a little bit but not too much. So I started RuneScape. I probably made my first account in 2006, I want to say. Um my first account, I got stuck in Draenor Manor, could not find the back exit, abandoned that account, made a second one.
Wait,
I
wait,
I
but before you before you move on, did you ever get stuck in the fucking maze thing where you had to pull the levers for the oil can? I swear I was down there for 2 weeks during
uh,
like second grade. or not even second grade. I must have been in 4th grade.
I don't think I ever got stuck there, but this was before home teleport, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just couldn't find because you couldn't leave through the front doors. You had to like leave through the kitchen
you
or something.
Yeah, you have to go all the way to that side. Yep.
Yeah, so I got my first account stuck in there. Slightly embarrassing. That's okay. I made a second account.
It builds
the
character.
more embarrassing thing, yeah, I'm more embarrassed about the fact that I got my second account stuck in there as well.
No. Did you try
Yeah.
to save the first one and you just like, surely the second one's gonna find a way out and I can save the first account and they both got stuck? It's like
I don't even
a fucking shoe up in the tree to save a ball or something and just the shoe gets stuck. You gotta throw your second shoe up there.
Might have been something like that. I think I had abandoned the first account. I was just like, I'm a little bit better at this game now. Let's
That's
I think
what
we
made
can
you
take care of
decide you're
this
better
now.
at the game. You got stuck in a fucking haunted house. Like, I'm better at this now. Let's restart.
Well, I think I was a little higher level or something. I don't know. But my third account, that was when I made it to like level 30 or something. And then I think a friend of mine stole that account. So so then my fourth account, that's when I created Jeporite, and that one stuck.
Okay. And is that your main account now? Actually, I guess that must have been in the old RS3.
Yeah, so that's my RS3 account, which I never ended up. I played probably. I gave Evolution of Combat the old college try, and I probably played it for another 2 months after it came out, and I just slowly lost interest. Moved on to other terrible games like League of Legends and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Oh yeah.
The classics.
Yeah.
I played old school RuneScape like a tiny bit on release. I started playing my account as an Iron Man before Iron Man was a thing, and then I quickly gave up when I decided it was too hard.
Yeah, I mean, we have to remember as well, there was no grand exchange in the fresh economy was there. I mean, what would you want to sit around on Sae Bae trying to buy shit? I mean, I feel like a lot of people were playing as irons, more or less. Yeah.
But then I forget what pulled me back into it. I think it might have been around the time Chambers of Xeric came out. I remember doing Chambers. I remember trying to do Chambers on release. So I had an account that was probably like 70 attack and strength or around there. I did like weird things with my account. My main account was like a Zerker Pure for a while. And then I decided I wanted a quest cape on it. So I ended up getting 66 defense, which was the minimum defense level required for a quest cape. And I just called it a Chivalry Pure. And that account is actually still 66 defense.
I'm looking at it right now. Yeah.
I wish you didn't. I wish you weren't. It is a truly terrible account.
Yeah. You fucked around with sailing a little bit. You gave up at 39 though. That's a good spot to give up, low key. So
I played it on release up until the first Barracuda trial. I do like sailing. I think it's a good addition to the game. To be completely honest, I just don't play very much RuneScape nowadays. Just because I'm once again very behind on my footage.
Yep.
So I'm trying to catch up a bit. I have a big barbarian assault grind in my future, and I want to do that as a big streamed event.
Okay. What's the how far back's the footage that will be included in the next episode? Months?
Oh God. Yeah, just a couple of months.
Okay.
We're looking at August of 2024.
Jesus. Oh, okay. Just a couple months. Yeah.
Yeah. Just a couple months.
Okay. Let me ask about this because, I mean, it does sound, and I completely would agree with you, especially with the perfectionist mindset. Like actually going in and editing a full ass production of something when you already have the footage, like that is not going to be as motivating as just playing more and, you know, getting some more footage and just playing the game, you know, because it's just chill and relax.
Well,
You,
playing the game is that doesn't feel like work,
it
right?
doesn't. It doesn't. Yeah.
Because I mean, I barely even do live commentary. I let myself commentate afterwards, and I just get to enjoy the game.
Yeah, no, that. I was actually curious because I've been talking to creators now where the first 3 episodes of my series is all post commentary, post you know, clips, everything, and I don't have any live commentary. I think my initial plan was to have live commentary, and I think maybe that would be an easier route, but I almost feel like my perfectionist self would be like, that clip sucked and like the audio sounds bad and I didn't even capture what I wanted to say and it's not gonna sound great. But I watch series where people do that style. I mean, Limpwort is, it feels like he's doing that in all his clips and they work out very well, and I'm like, okay,
I mean, I think you're exactly right. I think it's a perfectionism thing. I think it can work great. But I'm always nervous, and I end up like trying to record things live, and I look back and I'm like, I can do that better.
yeah,
Right. Like, and it's like a reaction. Like I'm dubbing over reactions. Sometimes I can react better.
yeah, no, I mean, it's embarrassing, but as soon as you understand as a viewer that most high production RuneScape series are all dubbed over, you kind of just accept it. I mean, I'm certain that settled everything is voiced over after the fact. I'm nearly positive. Maybe Swampletics had some stuff in like the early days that it wasn't, but anything new, it feels like, I am not 100% sure, but I'm almost positive it's that way, and including reactions. And I'm doing the same thing. Like, I now have to react to a super sick drop I got that I'm not going to reveal quite yet, but like I didn't record it live, so I'm just going to freak the fuck out over nothing later.
I think I would guess the best creators, or the biggest creators, both categories, are able to mix live and recorded audio to which you can't tell the difference. I think that's the perfect solution, if there is one.
What if it all was still post recorded, but it appeared to the audience that they did a perfect job of live commentary and what else, but deep down it was all post, but it appeared as though it was live.
I mean, if you can do that, that's incredible.
Yeah.
There is a lot of things in live reactions that I listen to my own live reactions and I'm like, this is too good to not put in. Right. Like,
yeah.
like hitting the stupid my first leaf bladed axe.
Yeah. Let me,
I was like streamed, right? And it was 2,700 Karasks for an axe.
Jeez. Okay, well, that's it. I guess that's a difference because you were live streaming and you already had the mic in front of your face. The issue I have is if I'm offline gaming, I don't want a mic in front of my face. And
that's fair.
The way my mic is set up, it's like, yeah, it would still record the audio of a live reaction if it's off to the side, but it's gonna sound like shit. And I almost feel like I'm still gonna perform kind of weirdly, knowing that it's being recorded. It's not gonna be a fully authentic react. Like, I don't know. I feel like the whole thing just feels fakey anyway, and so I may as well just do it after the fact and just make it sound better. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it is about the perfectionism thing, right?
Yeah.
And it's definitely a lot easier if you have the capability to speak in cohesive sentences, which I do not. It speeds up the process if you don't need to. I mean, the first thing I do for every video is I comb through all the footage and I write a script. So I have every single video written out in text form.
Oh, wow. Okay, let me just cross this by you. I'm new at this, and that does sound like the way to do it, because what I'll do is I'll have the editing software open. I'll be AFKing on my account, obviously, just grinding something. And then on the RuneLite tab, I'll go to the notes section and just type out a script for, like, if I need to go into, like, for example, this last episode that I was just editing yesterday, it's me entering the tithe farm and trying to explain stuff. And I know for a fact I can't just free ball that and get every single word right and make it sound smooth. So I do have to type it all out. I'm like, okay, how am I going to say all this? Type it all out.
Mhm.
And then I'll just rehearse that. And I only do that with certain sections that feel like a more like the next monumental step. Like, okay, this is the next big thing we're working on. And then I'll kind of write it out first and then say it. But you do that with basically everything.
Yes, but I'm doing it 6 months later.
Yeah. But even because like for most of the videos that I'm making, I'm just like, oh, here's level this. And again, it's more of a progress series. It's definitely a different category of video. I think yours is, like you said, more of a comedy disguised as a progress series, sort of. Yeah, I don't know. I just maybe one of the actually, this one more random thought I just need to throw in there is I tend to catch myself saying similar words over and over and over and over and over because it's not scripted out. I'm not catching all the times I'm repeating the same words in my limited vocabulary. And so do you have any issues with that? Do you feel like some of the time you're rewatching a clip and you're like, I feel like I just said a very similar thing in the clip previous to it. So maybe rearrange some vocab and make it sound not so monotonous. I don't know. Like, do you deal with that?
Well, when I have the entire script written out in front of me, it's very easy to see. And I intentionally don't repeat myself because of that.
Okay.
But at the same time, like, it's not the end of the world if you repeat yourself, right? I mean,
it isn't. I'm watching a Limpward series and he's saying the same thing over, and I'm like, this is great. I'm having a great time.
Like, I think it was, I was talking to Framed at RuneFest, and he was like, this is not what I expected you to look like. I'm going to close my eyes. Can you just say a line from your series? And I'm just going to listen to your voice and recognize you based on that. And I was thinking, I'm like, I don't have an, like, Settled's got like, this changes everything.
Yeah.
Right. Classic Settled line.
Yeah. Or the Sea Engineer collection log completed. Like I met him in real life and I just asked him to say that. I'm like, I'm such a fucking weirdo for asking him to do that, but I needed to do it. Yeah.
And I realized that because I intentionally don't repeat myself. Are there any quotes from my series that like are known to me? I don't think so.
That is funny. It's actually funny you say that because all my podcasts up until like 3 episodes ago, I had always started them with "All right, welcome to the Sae Bae cast." So that was probably, if I met any fan in the future, they would have asked me to probably say that line.
Right.
But now
and it becomes like a branding thing.
Yeah, it kind of is. I've kind of distanced myself from it. I think after 5 years of doing it, maybe I can switch it up and just start something a little bit more organically. But yeah.
I don't know.
So do you have anything on yours? No,
I feel like I have nothing. And I feel like maybe it was a missed opportunity. Because like, I mean,
it just goes to show how good you are at scripting, clearly, because you don't have anything that's just been overused. So, but maybe intentionally you could overuse something now.
I think I should have. Like
it's never too
late.
Have
like a
it's never too
hi
late,
and
man.
Welcome to my guide or like a right. Like,
would you even want to? I feel like there is it's almost cliche to do it though. Especially if the objective is to do. I feel like organically it can just arise if you're just not.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to intentionally plant something in there. I think I think you're right. It needs to come up organically.
Yeah, I'm sure it will though. I mean, I feel like
maybe
all you really need is a stupidly stupid. Oh, I guess for sayings it might be a little bit different, but I'm just seeing something that's like very memorable. I guess like for you, the leaf bladed axe. Had you gone 2 times more dry, let's say it was over 5,000 kills, like that would have been something you became known for, and then who knows, maybe there was some meme or some mixture of words that ends up being sort of like solidified with you, like, oh yeah, this guy fucking had it rough here, and we
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of it has to kind of be organic to get those memes or get those sayings in.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, maybe I'll go 5 times drop rate for something in my next video. Who knows?
I mean, I did it really nice on my hardcore. I think in the next episode is when I finally complete the bead catcher, imp catcher, and I went,
Yeah.
I think 6.5 times the rate for a black bead, and it's on the
Oh
collection,
no.
or not the collection, the little loot tracker. So like that
Yeah.
was fun because that still only took me 5 extra minutes, but I ended up going 6 times the rate, and I'm like, all right, this is
Right.
milk worthy, you know. I can just kind of like have it act upset, but ultimately this is like the best place I could have ever gone dry on. So let me switch gears once again and just ask about how, I don't know, as much as you're willing to get into, how your real life has changed after going full time with content creation. I mean, what did your life used to look like versus now? What are maybe the pros and cons of working from, I mean, did you work from home originally?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, because it was during COVID, right?
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you were like let go or something during that, and you're just kind of like, or on unemployment or whatever. I know my brother was on for like 8 weeks or whatever, but
no, I was pretty lucky there.
okay.
It was remote and it remained remote.
Okay, so lifestyle change, really nothing crazy.
Yeah, not too bad at all.
Okay.
It I guess my life hasn't changed too much. I ended up moving to a place that was a bit less expensive. Um, but I mean, it's wake up, edit, go to the gym, try to maybe stream, but trying to deal with keeping myself on track video wise has always been the struggle for me. Because I will just keep working on a video for 200 hours. I think I average like I looked it up and it kind of scared me, so I never looked it up again. But at one point, I averaged like 5 hours of editing for 1 minute of video.
Oh man. Yeah, that is that for most mortals would burn them out and they probably wouldn't continue after a certain amount of time. But I mean, you've had your burnouts with editing, but you've actually maintained, even though earlier in the conversation we were saying how important it is to maybe have like a weekly regular upload optimally, but the fact that you've kept
it
up
would
so
be
long
nice, but
yeah.
And I mean there were breaks in there with like some stuff that came up in my personal life. Like I had gone, I think last year I only uploaded 2 videos. Although one of them was the giant was that last year? Please tell me that wasn't 2 years ago. I don't want to look. Right, last year was the start of season 3. Seasons of I wish I called them chapters, not seasons. Yeah, I mean it's keeping up with the upload schedule has always been the biggest struggle for me. Although now with sponsors and deadlines, I have a bit more push to get these things out.
How does that work with the deadlines? Do we just say, are you just reaching out to the or whoever the middleman is, you're saying, hey, get a video out by this date? And that's it, pretty much?
Yeah. So it basically roughly a month before I'm ready to put the video out, I reach out to the talent agent and he finds some companies interested and they basically give you a release window. So at that point, when you sign the contract, you're locked into the window. And usually it's, the second half of a month or so you have some leeway within that. Okay. But it is like a deadline that is set in stone for a video and that really helps me at least.
Yeah, I was going to say that would be very motivating. I feel like.
Yes.
That's cool.
Not losing a sponsor can be very motivating.
Yeah. No, that's a really, for me right now, it's like I genuinely have no time frame, and it's sort of like I understand I should be doing this maybe once or I mean, once a week or, twice a month at minimum, I feel like, but I'm not doing that. I mean, I think the third episode came out like almost a month after the second. I'm like, this isn't good. But I'm working on other things too. I'm trying to do the podcasting and whatever else. So, and the editing is daunting. I mean, it is. It's like as soon as I open up the program, I'm like, God damn it. Like I have to record so much audio. And it's like, if I'm not in the mood to be on, really is can be very demotivating, because you do have to put in like a lot of energy into your voice to get that. Do you ever experience that, like where you just have a day where like, hell no, am I going to be audio recording right now? I just want to deal with the After Effects and stuff.
Well, going back to my bizarre editing process, I record the entire video in one sitting.
Wow. Okay, so when you
I read the script from top to bottom.
How many takes does it? Do you just do it in sections? Like, okay, I'm just going to get to this point, or do you try to go as long as you can, and then as soon as you make a mistake, edit it and then continue onward?
No, I basically read paragraphs at a time, and I give myself like 2 or 3 different takes of each one, and then later I go in and cut them up.
Wow.
That's actually what I'm starting to outsource starting next episode. I got a buddy of mine who I'm going to put that onto him, and he can deal with that from now on. Just because I need the momentum from releasing videos can sometimes helps me from, or I guess the motivation. Sometimes it feels like hour 8 of chopping audio can just like, I mean, it really can kill your momentum going forward. And ideally I finish one episode. Like I already have the script for the next video written.
Okay.
And the audio is already recorded. So ideally I finish this video and I can leap right into the next one.
That's pretty nice. And it sounds like you
although this has been a recent change. I have been, well, I have needed to tune my I guess my process recently. I've gone through kind of a restructuring of how I make YouTube videos in the last couple of months.
What is like maybe one big piece of advice that you could offer to up and coming YouTube creators in the OSRS scene? I mean, and I'm kind of being selfish here. I mean, what do you think was the biggest thing that if you had known or learned earlier on, it would have saved you hundreds of hours? Is there anything? And maybe not having nothing to do with offloading stuff either, like just purely something you can do on your own that just speeds up things.
Definitely use replay buffer. True. Or mark your clips. True. Or something to help you with that. I mean, basically just do the opposite of what I do and don't spend 5 hours editing a minute of footage, right? I just look at what is difficult for me, which is looking back on this giant backlog of footage. So try to keep up to date. Don't, I mean, like maybe you want to set a specific goal when you're playing. I don't know. Cause like, I don't like doing that because then it makes playing feel like work.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my actual advice to people just starting out is get a good microphone and make sure your UI in RuneScape is not super small.
Yes. God damn. It's people that actually play unironically in like they have like a 1440 monitor and they're on the 100% zoom, like just the default zoom. Yeah. And then your inventory is microscopic and you also taint it with outlines of your armor and stuff. So it's like really, yeah. It's you can't see it. You can't see what's going on. Yeah, I think. Yeah. I don't actually know off the top of my head. Do you play on fixed or is it a more like modern resizable that's close to fixed?
So when I play on Northern UIM,
Yeah.
I specifically play. So it's fixed, but it's in a window that is exactly 1920 by 1080.
Okay, so yeah, you've stretched it all out on OBS to be a 1080p fit, but it is.
Well,
Wait, let me
no,
just
the window itself when I'm playing it is 1920 by 1080.
Oh,
and then it's
okay.
not stretched on, just because I don't like playing it when it's that small. I can't deal with that, but this is still a good, it still reads well on, I mean, it's basically exactly the same, except the stretching is not done in OBS, it's done in RuneLite.
Interesting. Okay, I am. I just want to cross this by you, see if you're interested at all. Because the way I play, I'm looking at your video right now, actually, just to kind of see it. But that makes sense. Have you ever considered playing with like XBR? It's like a scaling thing that you can do on GPU and making it so.
I do not like XBR. I don't like the way it looks.
Have you given it more than a day? I'm just curious.
No. I have not given it more than a day.
Okay.
But I think the first impression for a YouTube video, that's all you need. Like it's not like if you're watching a YouTube video and then you go back to your normal RuneLite, like you're gonna look at the YouTube video and be like, yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. I guess I'm mostly curious because I remember years back switching to XBR, and I initially was about to vomit, like legitimately about to vomit because of how disorienting it was. It was just so uncanny. Everything got really smooth, and I'm like, Jesus, this is bad. And then for some reason, when I closed out of the client, I reverted the changes, closed out of the client. Then when I went back to it, it was on it. And then I was like, fuck it, I'll just like deal with it for a little bit. And then by the next day, I switched it back off, and I could not stand the normal graphics anymore. So like,
oh wow.
Interestingly, or not like I couldn't stand it, but it was an improvement. I was just like, okay, like I actually want to stick with this. And so I guess for me, I just there's something now about the smoothness. I don't like animation smoothing, but I like the smoothness of like the sprites and everything else. And to be fair, you got a great crisp looking YouTube video already. I feel like some people that use the basic, and it's probably because you already have stretched out your client in the way you like it, but there are some video series where I watch and I'm basically immediately turned off by the quality. It's almost like they're not recording it at a high enough bit rate or something.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just curious. But now that I'm looking at your client, it looks good.
I did notice they added a hybrid UI scaling.
Yeah, there's several different ones.
I've never noticed this hybrid option before. I've always used bicubic Catmull ROM, but I think hybrid looks excellent.
Ooh, okay.
Unfortunately, the legacy GPU doesn't have it, and I really don't like all of the like ground items clipping into the ground. So I'm still on the legacy GPU, but I'm sure eventually I'll move up to the one that supports boats.
Okay, wait, what is the difference between hybrid and nearest neighbor? Those look absolutely identical. And I thought that was just simply actually, it might look different.
It looks different on my end. Nearest neighbor looks disgusting when you have stretched your client.
You're right, because the only way for nearest neighbor to look good is if it's an exact doubling of the resolutions. Correct. Which I do use. I use the 1530 by 1006, and I stretch it on OBS. So that's probably why it looks identical. Okay. And when you switch it to XBR, actually, you're right. XBR looks terrible when it's not 1530 by 1006. I forgot. That's also right.
That's probably what it is. Yeah.
Interesting. If you're ever curious, you can go to my channel and just see the difference between XBR of how I use it, because it's still a 1080p ultimately stretched, but yeah.
Can you give me your resolution? I'll set my RuneLite to it and just take a look.
Yeah, let me just pull up the settings really quick. Anyway, all that said, let me let me ask you about certain updates in the game that maybe you think about or would love if just got implemented in the game? Is there anything in the Northern UIM world in your eyes that, like, man, if this could just be changed, or if this one thing was added, this would be a game changer? Do you ever dream about something in your area that could just fix everything?
There's nothing that, like, I mean, really, I just want them to stop locking things behind the wilderness diary.
Yeah.
I mean, so my biggest, I would love achievement diary reworks that make them more like the combat achievement system with points. Just because I feel like that would, well, that would significantly help me do them, because I'm just like, I have the Fremi easy diary, but the medium diary requires some just like random stuff. What's in this? Like using fairy rings.
Yeah.
That's not specifically a Fremenic thing, but it's required for the fairy for the diary. But there's not like, there are like super minor things. Like, it'd be nice if I could get wax for a sled. I could do troll romance, but that doesn't like give me anything.
That's low-key a great idea. The first idea you said of treating it like CAs with points.
Oh, the wax?
Yeah, the wax, terrible idea. I wasn't going to mention that. No,
Yeah,
no, that'd be great too. I still have your video playing on the end, by the way. Like, just on the side now, it's just muted, but I'm just laughing over some of the edits I'm seeing. Anyway, I think one of my ideas, and I don't know how much more space we really have, because it feels like a lot of the elite normal diaries are already like the highest thing you can do. But I was thinking, what if in the future they came out with a master version of all of them, and then they were just like weighted scales, so like an easy task gives you 1 point, and then, you know, just exactly like CAs.
I mean, there definitely needs to, they should do something with them, because
they should.
There's no, they don't have a system where they can put new content in them, right?
Yeah.
So they're all just from, when did these diaries come out?
2014.
2014.
Yeah,
okay.
like,
so I mean, apart from, did they, no, it's just achievement diaries full of 2014 content, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's like, they're a great motivator, because some of the rewards can be nice. Like the desert, the desert one specifically, I think is pretty great. Elite Void isn't bad.
Yep.
But I mean, like, they don't even have like Prif stuff in the
Western provinces or whatever.
Also, why is it Western provinces? They couldn't do Taranwin?
Who knows?
I think that could be
just a cleanup.
Maybe like a like a summer sweep up kind of thing.
I would be so down for that. And I genuinely love the idea of the point scaling. I think I was initially against the CA version of them doing that, because the systems in RuneScape had always been the normal diary version of it, where it's like, you just have to get this, and that's just how RuneScape was. But now that we've seen the success of what CAs has offered, where you really just kind of go around and complete any task that you can complete, and it's going to get you to that next milestone, that would be amazing for diaries, especially now on like my hardcore. I mean, if I could just finish, because like, for example, I'm trying to get the already medium done. I still have a couple more quests to do that I just haven't done, but I want to get noted secondaries from the Tower of Life, but I can't do it without the medium diary. And I'm like, man, I would have already had the medium diary completed had it been counting me, you know, planting a palm tree or whatever, or planting a tourstile in the farming patch. Like that, being able to progress your account and unlock those achievements and actually have it mean something to get to the next tier would be so good. I'd love that.
Yeah. And also, super greedily, can we just move the guy for the wilderness diary actually in the wilderness? Like, put him in Ferox. Why is he in Edgeville? What's going on there? I mean, the actual reason is that Ferox Enclave was not a thing when the diaries came out, right?
Yeah. Put him in the Ferox. Boom, done, solved.
Right, easy.
Yep. Same with low-key Cristelia. Like that. Honestly, be in
it should be in Ferox as well.
Okay, I'm not even kidding right now. I'd be 100% on board for both of those changes. Move both of those NPCs, because then getting another wilderness task would actually be even quicker. Because,
Yeah, I wouldn't have to swap to Lunar Spellbook.
yeah, I mean, especially for you, but for anybody that doesn't have a glory, like right now, I don't have a glory, and whenever I would want to get a Crystal task, yeah, I got to go to Ferox anyway, and then run through the wilderness. So that's weird. Okay. Yeah, I'm always just curious, because I feel like with Snowflakes, there's just bound to be a billion different things that you'd want change, but then it's ultimately like, okay, I chose to play this life, but at the same time, these updates do make sense, but there's not enough community gravity to support it. Yeah.
And I mean, the North has received a lot of changes over the years, but 99% of them have been locked behind something that I would have to leave to do. Like why is, I mean, Nex is locked behind Desert Treasure. There's a quest for, I literally can't do the quest Secrets of the North because it starts in Ardy. Like, whatever. I'm not, I don't feel like I'm being scammed for content.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be nice if, I mean, I think Idol told me once that I'm his favorite Snowflake because I'm the only one who loses content with every update instead of gains it.
Oh my god, the wilderness is such a, it's in the war, it's just such an awkward, sticky spot. I feel like there's so many random arbitrary things that you just can't engage with until you've been out there and you're like, oh, wait, I can't do this, or like I can't over heal if I'm under combat, like I can't do all these weird things. And then there's like requirements to teleport out. Like I can't even teleport out of a wildy boss unless I've completed like the medium or hard diary to just,
well, you can't even do them now without the diary.
Oh, can you not? Oh my god. Yeah.
So that was a recent change they made, locking even the, because they locked the singles bosses behind the medium diary. That was a couple years ago.
Okay.
But then the multi bosses were still getting botted, so they locked those behind the medium diary and upped the singles bosses to the hard diary. Fortunately, this also, well, not fortunately, but when they overstep like that and break like combat only accounts, then they tend to tune things back. So now you can fight any of them if you have specifically that boss slayer task.
Weird.
Super arbitrary. It feels like they just want to make my life as miserable as possible, but I'll do it. That's fine. Whatever.
Yeah.
As long as I'm not permanently locked out of the rest of my series, then I'll play your silly games, Jagex. It's fine.
It's just, there's a reason why there's so many issues in the wilderness, is because everything just feels so imbalanced. Like,
yeah, it's just rules on rules.
Yeah, it's rules on rules. And like the underlying issue is simply the fact that most of this stuff is just pumping out way too much resources. And the reason they did that is because they wanted to give PKers more targets. Like just more targets, out there. And then like, and so there's this bad, there's just like these bad incentives to keep kind of pumping out GP, because I think there's, and again, like the bad incentive is the fact that like we want bots to be removed, but deep down there is a reason to keep bots around in the wilderness, and Jagex understands that, like, which is,
well,
I think so. I genuinely think that there is a underlying like layer of there actually being some desire to keep bots around in the wilderness, particularly.
I'm not sure I agree with that. I think
let me say this, and maybe it might connect, and then I want to hear your reason for why you disagree. So they also want players that have nothing that, and again, they do a good job because they do have to, and I understand this is complex and it's not just a black and white thing, but I'm just saying that there is some incentive to keep bots around, and the reason is because they just want the wilderness to be somewhat active regardless of the consequences, sort of. I feel like there's just some like catering to just having things out, having people out in the wilderness, either bots or people, because they do the same thing, pushing other people out there that aren't even going out there to engage in combat. They're just doing it to like skill and whatever else. Let me hear your take, because to be fair, this isn't fully fleshed out. I'm getting this vibe from it. So do I have a bunch of like data to back this up? Not necessarily, but let me hear your view on this, and maybe it'll change my perspective.
Yeah, I mean, I think sure, there are definitely PKers who go out there specifically to hunt bots, and you can make a decent profit off of it, but I feel like I mean, a lot of the bots, like, well, I guess not all of them, but some of the bots are just so strong now that it's like they just one tick teleport as soon as any player that can attack them appears, right?
Yeah.
Like at some point, continually running into bots that PKers can't kill is, well, it's driving away actual players because all the worlds are full, right? They're full of bots.
Mm-hmm.
You can't find your own boss. And then the PKers actually have no killable targets. And then also, like, you have like protection clans that go around, like, a bot spots a PKer and then suddenly 7 other PKers log in on top of them and kill them. Like,
Yeah. The CCTV
I
or
don't,
whatever. Is that
like, yes.
Yeah.
Right. Like, there are definitely merits to having easy targets out there. There's no way it outweighs the damage that bots cause. I do think it could be interesting having NPCs put into the game that do player-like activities, like maybe NPCs log in and kill Vedion to provide a target for a PKer, like in the place of a bot. I think that could be a cool solution.
Oh, no. That'd be bad. That would remind me of PUBG Mobile, when I was playing PUBG Mobile back in college, where it's like I have the,
yeah.
Don't get me wrong, there are probably drones, like human drones out there that just would love that, and we'll see no difference between the satisfaction of killing an NPC versus a player. But dear God, when for the first game I played, I remember I killed like 10 people on my PUBG game, and I realized that the entire thing was just flooded with bots. It was just all bots. It was just me and a bunch of bots. And then when I discovered that, it was like this sick feeling of like, oh God, like that was not a good experience. Now that I actually consider what had happened right there, I just got totally played. And I feel like if Jagex were to try to treat them and try to make them appear human and have like human interactions, it would just be so...
Well, I don't think that they should be. They should definitely not look like players, right?
Okay.
They should look like NPCs.
I'm gonna say that it would still be a terrible idea. I remember this clip of Pure Spam walking through the new and improved quote unquote improved duel arena, and he's like, "Oh my God, there's people fighting," and there's like 2 NPCs that kind of look.
Oh yeah, no, okay. Well, those are.
And I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, no, those. Yeah, I don't know about those.
Yeah, but the general
so
sentiment I do agree with, though.
I do think that there needs to be NPCs, whether it's in the wilderness or in like a mini game of some sort, to introduce people to PvP.
Yeah,
whether it's killing other players or tanking other players, there needs to be an easier path to entry, because right now it is rough out there.
I agree, and I think even Modalena had brought up an idea of, and I feel like this, a few other JMods had brought up an idea, and I think Scurrius was there was a Scurrius version before Scurrius came out that was supposed to be in the wilderness.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it's supposed to be like a wilderness boss where you're like learning how to prayer flick against 3 different styles. So there's potential for them to just create an artificial PKer, and then you fight it and get better and better. But I okay, I'm gonna say this, but like I understand the value of the wilderness. I really do.
Right.
I understand it. I just think there are some fundamental flaws with it,
Oh,
and
100%.
and a lot of those flaws end up being total imbalance of resources to like how much you can get outside of the wilderness. Like the imbalance is extreme. Like it really is, especially when you're a lower level account. As soon as you're max and everything else, yeah, it kind of bridges that gap with like high end raids and stuff. But other than that, like, man, if you were to go out on a normal iron and just do wilderness slayer and wilderness agility, like you would make just millions and millions of gold before there's any activity outside of the wilderness that could offer you anything close to that. And so like there's already fundamental issues with that. And then on top of it, I feel like, and I want to hear your take on this, because I've been trying to sort of promote this idea that the wilderness does not need to have the annoyances of like losing all your shit and having to re-gear and do
Oh,
all. So
I
yeah.
yes, I would love it if I could put money into a coffer in Ferox and the PKer gets the amount of money that I was risking and I
Thank
keep
you.
the stuff.
Surely you've heard my pitch then, right?
Maybe.
Okay,
I
the fact that you haven't, or that maybe you haven't, because literally the words that just came out of your mouth is exactly what I've been proposing for like years now.
I probably have them.
Okay, so yeah, it's just literally, I call it the wilderness coffer idea. I won't go too much into it right now, but the general sentiment, and I can totally understand a system like this in detail might not be the move, but the sentiment is that we should get rid of all of the annoyances of and just the pain of dying out in the wilderness. And a
Yeah.
lot of it is, it's like almost for punishment itself. It's like how can, like, it really does feel like a lot of the time PKers just want to ruin your day. It's not actually about like the killing. It's sort of like everything in the wilderness feels slimy. It sucks to get
Yes.
it sucks to get attacked by somebody, especially if it's like a really unfair fight. If I'm killing something in the Wilderness Slayer cave and 7 people log into me, insta-tele block me, and I'm just dead. It's just pointless. And then I lose everything. And I have to, like, on an Iron Man, it's just pure hell because, one, there was no incentive of fighting back really in the first place. And then on top of it, I'm just a sitting duck and I lose all my shit. And then I can't go to the Grand Exchange and buy things. I have to, like, go re-obtain them from their source.
Right.
So the idea is, yeah, to just have a coffer where you're risking that value, and that value can be deposited into a coffer, and then that goes to the person that killed you. So you end up, if you died out in the wilderness and your coffer had enough money to pay for the value that you were carrying, that key would go to them, that money would go directly into their coffer, and based on that value, and then you would respawn with everything. Like you would literally respawn in your respawn point with everything in your inventory and everything on your back, and boom, you've lost this amount of money, but you're good. And if you, and now a really cool part about the system is the fact that you're now incentivized to also attack back. Because one, you're not really losing time by attacking back, because if you die, boom, you're just back into the act, like you just respawned with everything still on you. But you have the now potential to attack back and get gold into your coffer. And if you're an Iron Man, you can't actually withdraw from the coffer. It'll just stay in there.
Well, that I'm not. That I don't think. I think that opens up opportunities for boosting, right? Then you could.
What is the point of boosting though if you can't withdraw it?
At that point, you as an Iron Man can just risk your main's cash stack.
But the fact is that is still being money transferred. So
yeah, okay, right.
like
I can see that.
I get it that like some people have that initial fear, because I've talked to many people about this, and a lot of people have that initial fear of Iron Man should not have any help from anybody else outside of it, no matter what. And I'm just thinking, if you can't benefit from this on your Iron Man in the first place, other than just the fact that whatever you do have, you're not going to lose because you're paying with it from somebody else's account, it's like very similar to like you getting your Mage Arena 2 capes and having somebody help you. But it's like you're gonna get help in this game regardless. Like there just can be ways of getting help. But this is like a really, really tame way of helping where you're depositing money into this from a separate account. Sure, like you kill your main on it, you get a bill into your coffer, and it's like, okay, now you have a bill in your coffer. What are you trying to do with that? Like you can't buy bank space with it. You can't do anything else with it. It's not going to pay for your death's coffer, because this would be a separate thing. It's only wilderness based. So it's just simply give and take. And if you did want to just go full balls to the wall, kill your main for 2 bill, the 2 bill's in there. Every time you die, you're still paying off the PKer. The PKer is getting everything he wants still, and you are just losing money from the main that you killed earlier, but you're not having to deal with the consequences of like losing your Iron Man items. And I think it's okay. I think there's no way really to get around that system when it comes to PvP. There is zero way to prevent that kind of boosting unless you're just going to manually ban people every time for.
I think that it does kind of make sense that I mean, it's not like Iron Man can get help from other. Yeah, I guess it would be fine to risk. I don't know. It still feels a little bit weird to me.
It feels weird.
I don't think we're gonna have a perfect solution, so it's.
So
I don't know.
So let me just paint a couple more benefits from this. So even though it sounds weird, and I am 100% willing to concede that this would be like, if this did not have community support, putting in an update like this would be devastating to the game right now. Like this needs to build traction and support for it to ever be implemented. I would hate it if this was just instantly implemented.
I mean, the issue is there are a lot of people that will see that it's a wilderness update, and even if it does help non-PKers more than it helps PKers, they're going to vote no regardless.
So here's the thing where I think there are some beautiful parts about the implications of this. One is that it can be used by everybody. So it's not just an Iron Man thing. Everybody now has this coffer system. It's an opt-in, opt-out thing. So if you want to opt into it, you can. And by you opting into it, and I would even say by using the coffer, maybe there is a slight extra fee that you have to pay for the convenience. So a normal death that you were risking 1 mil, maybe it actually costs 1.1 mil. Maybe it's a 10% fee on top for the convenience of the coffer. Yep. So now you could still play the traditional way where you're just risking your items and you get a loot key with the items. But if you killed somebody that is using the coffer, now you've just gained 10% more money from not, getting that quote unquote satisfaction of seeing all the items in the key, because a lot of PKers, I can't even say a lot. There has been a couple people that have said, what about the satisfaction of opening up a key and seeing all the items in there? And I'm like, yeah, like that's a good point, that you would remove that by offering this coffer system. But imagine, you're going to most likely as a PKer sell all that stuff anyway. And imagine you just made 10% more on top of it by not getting that satisfaction of seeing the keys. So then it's almost like a win-win for those people, because it's either you see the loot, you get all that satisfaction, or you just get a 10% increase to what you just killed in the first place. So it's open to everybody, opt in, opt out. If both parties are opted in, they'd both go to the coffer, obviously, like it would just work out that. But if you killed somebody so if you're an Iron Man, let's say, that killed somebody because now you have an incentive to build up your coffer, but they were not opted in, then you are technically still punished. Like you would just get the key and just destroy it. You couldn't extract the gold from it. So if you want to be a spiteful PKer, just never opt in, but you're not going to experience the conveniences of it. You're just going to be punishing Iron Man. So that's an option for you if you wanted to do that. But I think the incentives of it for everybody would be so great that if this were theoretically to be forced into the game, I'm sure most people would opt into it because of all the convenience that you would get directly, selfishly from it. So the other beautiful thing about this is the fact that people are now willing to fight. If I knew that I'm out in the wilderness and somebody started attacking me and I'm risking some shit and I know it's just going to come from my coffer, like let's just say I'm catching black chins on my iron. If I die with my whole black chin stack, I'm actually going to keep the black chin stack and it's only going to go through the coffer of that. That's what the PKer ends up getting. So there's almost more incentive to just stick around and fucking fight. Like, why not? Like, it's not like I'm going to lose my stuff. I'm just going to lose the value of the stuff I had. And I feel like that's leading to more interesting engagements of actually fighting back, of actually trying to kill the person that's trying to kill you. Like, I would genuinely want to fight back. And I could bring fucking dragon claws on my main if I want. I could bring stuff that would actually pimp me out. If I had a ton of money in my coffer, I could just risk that. And it's not even unfair, because if the PKer still ends up killing me, he just made like 200 mil in his coffer because he just killed me. So I think over everything, I think it just makes sense, and it encourages people to actually just engage in the wilderness and not feel this inevitable doom that's about to happen to them, where everything's fucking stripped from them. And then you go back out to your gravestone out there and there's like a few things remaining and some untradables, that it just becomes the biggest mess. And I feel like we could solve that instantly with a system like this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thinking like it does kind of feel like you're using your main to buy lives in the wilderness, uh, which hmm, I
And okay, let me also say one, because you just brought up that, and I will say that if all this were to happen in an ideal world, in my view, it would be also nerfing the fuck out of a lot of the loot. So
gotcha. Okay.
I mean, there are so many fucking issues with the wilderness. There is. I'm trying to.
Yeah.
I'm trying to.
I feel
like there's one issue, which is just the feeling of dying and the feeling of being out there and just feeling it's so unfairly treated. Because if you're just out there as an Iron Man, like every odd is against you. Like you are just at the biggest, most massive disadvantage of all time. But yeah, so talking about kind of like buying lives, sort of like that does feel unfair, especially when the wilderness is so lucrative. And I feel like we could tone back the lucrativeness of the wilderness if this was to be implemented.
It does feel like we're trying to solve several problems with the wilderness at once, and I'm not sure if one solution is gonna do all of it, right? I'd want to see. I feel like I'd want to see each element of this pulled separately.
True.
Like pull the coffer, pull the Iron Men, be able to attack other players and add their GP to the coffer.
No, that would be totally, because even if it was just the stripped down version of the coffer being implemented, but Iron Man can never actually benefit from killing another player. First of all, I think that would kind of defeat the purpose, sort of like the beauty that could arise from this organically. But it could
it would
still
defeat.
work.
It would not really incentivize Iron Man to fight back, but it would help the feels bad feeling of having to re-gear everything, right?
Yeah.
I guess it would mostly help Iron Man with large cash stacks. The other lingering thought I had, I do try to think about how updates would inflict collateral damage on snowflakes. This would obliterate Bronze Man as a game mode.
Ooh, okay. So like the unofficial Bronze Man that like Frame does.
Right. Yes.
Yeah. So let me just ask you this. What if there was a system where, if this were to be implemented, Jagex does still allow you to see a loot key of what you would have received, and it's perfectly accurate. It captures exactly what the guy's inventory was and the loot, and so you still end up getting a loot key from killing somebody that's even fully opted into the like into the coffer system. So when they loot it,
I think that's
see
I
all
think
the
that
loot.
works.
It still unlocks everything that you would get on a Bronze Man, but then you just get the GP and like a 10% extra boost if we implemented that system as well.
Yeah, I feel because it's an unofficial game mode. I think that makes sense.
Okay. Because even RuneLight, I'm pretty sure could fix it, because they already have the costume.
And also that could make the PKing YouTubers happy, because they do get to see the loot key.
Yeah. That's such an easy thing to implement too.
Well,
at least
maybe.
I think it is.
It feels easy.
Yeah. No, that's true. I think it wouldn't be a very challenging thing, I should say. It still might come with some problems, but
can't wait for the item dupe bug on day one.
Yeah, that would probably happen too. I think the way I at least imagine a very healthy wilderness. So like in the fullness of times or whatever, 20 years from now, and we've figured out how to do anything. Again, totally, this could be completely inaccurate, but at least the way I perceive it at the moment is the wilderness kind of feels similar to an LMS experience, mildly, not really like in the sense that when you're done, you can jump right back into the action. It's like that excitement about like killing somebody or being killed and jumping right back into the action. There's none of that annoyance of gearing up and losing stuff that takes a large amount of time to get back.
Yeah, I definitely agree that the wilderness feels bad experience is definitely a key driving factor of the wilderness not being as active as it could be.
Yeah.
I think that is maybe one of the easier things to tackle with the giant beast that is the wilderness, without upsetting too many people, right?
Yeah. And there's just a couple more things. I know I'm lingering on this. I'll move on after this, but like think about even like people that do clue scrolls all day. A lot of the time, people now just suicide out in the wilderness because it's just not worth to bring anything valuable out there. Or all these untradables you're bringing out there, like your scroll book with all your scrolls and whatever else you're taking out. And with the Coffer system, like you could very comfortably, because like the chances of you actually dying is like less than 1%. Like the amount of times you go out there, it's probably like 1 in 100 times you actually end up dying. So you could actually very reasonably risk something like 30 mil on your guy or 50 mil or whatever, just risking a good amount and just feeling like, oh, I can go out there and if I die, it's like it just comes from my coffer. It's not the end of the world. And then you've now look at it from the PKers perspective. You've now encouraged people to be lazier going out in the wilderness because of the coffer being so convenient that now PKers actually are targeting more valuable targets. Like they really are. So many people run out in the wilderness with a spade and like a teleport out for their clue scrolls. They would not do that as often if there was the convenience of just losing 4 mil or whatever that's on your back.
You're encouraging people to bring their master scroll books out there
straight up because you wouldn't end up losing. You just lose the value of it. It's like perfect. I don't know. I think it's so essential because again, like you look at any PvP game like Call of Duty, like when you die, it's not go back to the lobby, pick out your gun again, pick out this thing out of your fucking thing, pay all these points for this untradeable gun skin that you got because you just died out there. No, it's literally you die and in 5 seconds you respawn back in the action. Like that is a modern PvP experience.
This is like a little thing. Mm-hmm. I really don't like when it's already this like predator versus prey ecosystem. Why are so many PKers just like kind of toxic when they kill you? Like, are they? Yeah. I mean, it is doesn't affect gameplay. It's just like, come on, man. You just sure you take my stuff, but like, you got to call me a rat as well.
Yeah, and like it's weird when it's like I can understand the sit and the funny like stuff when there's two consenting fighters, it's like
right,
you both have consented to fighting each other. Like LMS, it's like perfect to roast each other in LMS for the most part, unless you just see this guy has a UIM 111 or whatever in his name. I just feel bad for this guy ultimately. He just wants to get his rewards and leave.
That guy, no way that guy could win a fight anyway.
But you're right. Like, to be fair, PKing is a bug light for psychopaths and stuff. It just kind of is low key. I mean, if you,
it does seem to attract a crowd sometimes.
It does. So anyway, that is all I'll say on this because I know I end up the people that are listening to this are like, you bring this up a lot, but when I feel like I want to argue for something, I want to argue for something, and I think this would be a ultimately healthy thing. I'm totally willing to like accept any like for example like the coffer, like not letting Iron Man take advantage of that in any way. Like I could see an argument for that, and I'd be willing to concede. I'm like, okay, if we can get these other things implemented, maybe that would be an okay compromise. So
I have the tiniest change that, again, completely biased from my perspective, but
let's hear it.
Would be a solid update with very few downsides. Let UIMs use protect item.
Yes. Imagine UIM had this coffer in the first place and it wasn't the most. First off, can we talk about that? Because this is something I actually forget because I haven't really played at UIM. You lose everything anywhere from any death.
And it's
What's
just this. It's because Ultimate Iron Man used to be
ultimate.
You always lose everything, right? Because there was a 2-minute, like it was supposed to be like a death kind of parallels a hardcore death where you are starting over just with the stats you keep.
Yeah.
But now with the new death mechanics, I mean, it's been an hour for a while now. That's kind of redefined the game mode.
Yeah.
It's become this different thing, but we just have this lingering protect item thing that we can't do. So wilderness stuff is always just a little bit more annoying because, I mean, I guess the coffer would fix that, huh?
Oh man, that would be a dream for UIM. Holy fuck.
Yeah, I mean, just be like getting a rev weapon would.
Oh my god.
Because like there's just no point because you have to risk it everywhere.
Yeah. Holy shit. Yeah. No, I mean, UIM. I mean, that's a full conversation with UIM because I'm not trying to impede on your guys's, autistic.
Yeah, I can't actually speak for the larger UIM community. They scare me.
Yeah. I mean, listen. I have hope because it really does sound like what they're going to do for sailing, for example, is just increase the capacity of the cargo to the normal capacity. Like,
right. Yeah.
UIM used to have like 4 slots in there. What is that?
Oh yeah, that was silly.
It's like, it's not a bank chest. It's just a cargo hold. Like they already have chests in their POH that hold everything. Why can't they just have spaces in there? Yeah. So that makes sense. And it feels as though the tide has sort of shifted to be like, we kind of do want convenience. We still want the traditional UIM experience of no bank, but you guys are not allergic to quality of life, and it's shown that. Although there probably is a little bit of like fronting kind of like, yeah, I don't want this game mode to be easier, but then as soon as you experience, you're like, fuck, I like this. I'm gonna keep saying that I don't want it, but I kind of do.
I do feel like there's a lot of non-UIMs that try to speak for the UIM community with like that sentiment of well, you chose this very miserable game experience, so you want to be miserable.
There's a lot of that. And what are your thoughts on people that are super anti pures getting chivalry? I actually want to hear this. And don't try to please me either. What is your actual thoughts?
Okay. No, peers absolutely should not get chivalry because I have the world's only 66 defense chivalry peer, and I'd like it to stay that way.
I kind of forgot that you also are chivalry peer. So listen,
no, that account is just so cursed that the only reason I haven't, like, that account is what, 75 attack, 99 strength, 66 defense, 60 prayer.
Yeah.
It was trained wrong as a joke. The only reason I still have it is because I'm so deep into the sunk cost fallacy that I feel the need to get one video out of it before I actually level it up,
destroy it. Yeah.
But I don't want to go PKing because it just feels bad. I don't know.
Yeah.
And like I'm probably okay enough at I have enough LMS wins that like I'm sure I could do okay in the wilderness, but I don't know. It's just a mental block for me that I need to.
Isn't that crazy though? That's a mental block for you. This is exactly how extreme the wilderness has become in regards to PKing. It's like the people that have stuck with it for a decade plus are super good, and they know that they can make anybody their bitch if they wanted to. You know, like
Yeah.
anybody that's inexperienced, of course.
Yeah. I mean, like in theory, I should be the perfect candidate to enter the wilderness as a PKer and or as a learning PKer, right?
Yep.
I have experience in LMS. I have an account that is almost built for it. And I have motivation to make a video.
Yeah.
But I've been sitting on this account for years and I've just never felt the urge to do it.
Let me just cross this by you, and this is kind of in order to paint a picture for those that have wanted maybe or have had at least a desire to participate in the wilderness as a PKer. What if the coffer system in any capacity were to be offered? Like, do you think that would allow you that extra bit of motivation to go out and try PKing, or would that not change anything for you?
I'm not sure. Like I feel like really I just need direction, right? Because there's so many different places to PK at, but like there's no like where are you supposed to start? Like there's no
Exactly.
like there's a boss progression log, right? Like you start with I guess you start with the cow now, and then you go to Scurrius, and then
Royal
you can
Titans or
learn
whatever.
Royal Titans, Perilous Moons, but
Barrows,
like
yeah.
where what's the progression log for PKing? Like, do I go to are PvP worlds still active? Do I do bounty hunter? Do I just go into the wilderness and look for people? Like,
You're totally right. I'm even after playing this game for 25,000 hours, I have zero idea how you would get into it other than just spend a bunch of time at LMS and then get into some toxic PK clan and then just follow orders kind of and just do whatever. I have no idea, just making up shit, but I have zero clue of how to actually immerse yourself into the PK scene. And then there's the other thing of why the fuck would I want to immerse myself in the PK scene? It's like awful. Like,
yeah, they're a bunch of jerks.
yeah, it's like you. Why would I want to? I don't know. It's just kind of a mess out there. And you're right. It is. Where the fuck do you start? Yeah,
Should just go to all the places that I've died on Northern UIM and just look for UIMs there.
Yeah. I will say, just to back up, just to back up briefly on the pure chivalry thing. I don't understand why people flip out so much about it, because I think in my view, like, yeah, I can understand the game changing, but dude, have you ever tried clicking 3 prayers to activate one thing? I mean, I'm sure you do it on your Northern UIM maybe, but like the fact that there's an offensive, a defensive, and a strength prayer, like there's like attack, strength, and defense that you all have to turn on in order to get a worse boost than chivalry or piety would ever offer. And it's just like so much effort. It's like, why it doesn't even need to be the case that chivalry is for pures. It's just consolidate these fucking prayers. Like, why? This is so ancient. Yeah.
I mean, we're going so far back into like, why are attack and strength 2 different skills when ranged is one skill and magic is another?
Yeah. It is interesting.
I mean, we're delving into the 2001 game design that this game is built atop of.
It's true. And then you see like when you have 1 strength and you can barely hit a 1 on a goblin, but yet you can swing this mighty axe at level 99 woodcutting or whatever, 70 woodcutting, but you have 0 strength basically. It's goofy. Okay, well, yeah, we'll kind of just drift off from that. There's only really a couple more things I want to ask you before we wrap things up. So let me touch on just what the future for you really does look like. So how much longer is this Northern UIM series bound to take, do you think? And then really, you know, if it's, I mean, it sounds like optimally Jagex, having a spot at Jagex would just be like a dream. If it's not that, and it is still full-time creation, what do you anticipate working on?
So Northern UIM, it's going to be another couple of years, I would say. I would say probably maybe 2028. I'm not sure. It'll be a couple of years, and then there is the thought that if they ever release a northern raid, or some large piece of content in the north, I have thought of the idea of taking a second vacation. This would be post season, or this would be after I've completed all of my goals on the series. So receive a unique from every boss in the north. Just opening up all of the content that has been added to the north that I haven't gotten access to. So next, I'd probably unlock Duke and Fossil Island and Muspa, just to give myself some more content. And if there's, a northern raid, hopefully in the Acheron, which is a very cool frozen wasteland to the north in the lore that I am trying to plant subliminally in JMod's minds. That would be very cool, and I would definitely continue the series with that for another year or so. Apart from that, I don't know. Like, it's possible I continue with more like story-driven stuff, more narrative stuff. I don't know how much I'd use my YouTube channel for it, or if I'd want Jeporite to remain solely RuneScape related. I don't think I'd like completely disappear from the community, but I have been kind of itching to get back into game development a little bit. So even if it's not at Jagex, I might look around for like some other studios.
Okay. Yeah.
Probably nothing like AAA or something like that. I don't think I would do well in that environment, but
like indie, or just even above that, like some smaller studio. Like,
yeah, one of those two probably. Probably not indie. I feel like that might be. Well, it depends on. It depends on how many subscribers I have in 3 years. If I could support an indie studio.
Let me like ask this just to kind of get like for the audience and my sake, like games that you enjoy. I mean, the fact that you enjoy RuneScape, it's clear. I mean, you also said, you were playing League of Legends and
yeah, I don't do that too much anymore.
Yeah. So let me like, what are like your top 3 games other than RuneScape? Like, what's that kind of vibe? Like, what was the game that you would want to be involved in development? Like
so I'm very big into JRPGs. Like the Persona series is probably my all-time favorite series. And then I'm playing through all the Final Fantasy games. I'm at 7 right now, and I played 7 I've played 10 as a kid, and I've played through 1 through 6 as well. I'm looking to play Clair Obscur. That's the next game on my list.
Yes, Jimmy's talked a lot of positive. He was really pushing me into getting that, and then somebody actually bought it for me as a gift for my birthday. One of my stream viewers, and I still have not opened it. Like, it's been almost a year, and I'm like, okay, I am so addicted to RuneScape, I can't even like play other games, which is sad because he was saying that this game, like the Clair Obscur game, is like Legend of Dragoon, which was one of the competitors to like Final Fantasy back in the PS1 days. Had you ever heard of Legend of Dragoon?
Not before I listened to that podcast.
Okay.
But I had never heard of Legend of Dragoon.
Oh my god, you got to play that. If you're into JRPGs and especially that you're playing Final Fantasy, you should listen, like you should give it a try, because I know it was one of the like competitors. So like if you were like a Final Fantasy kid, you were like, I don't like Legend of Dragoon. If you like Legend of Dragoon, you didn't like Final Fantasy. I don't think it was that intense, but and I don't know how much my nostalgia is speaking for me with that game, but that game is phenomenal. Like, it's such a good story, and it's so unique, and it's 4 discs long. It's crazy. It's super fun.
Oh, wow. Nice.
So anyway.
And the other, I play a lot of tabletop as well. Like Dungeons and Dragons, Magic the Gathering, that kind of game. I don't know if I'd want to work at a company like that though. Oh, and I also play Super Smash Brothers Melee,
Hell yeah.
which another. I just like nostalgic games from the early 2000s with a decent amount of emergent gameplay in them.
Yeah.
That's the dream.
Isn't Melee considered like the perfect version of Smash Bros or something?
Oh, it is so far from perfect, but it is beautiful in its imperfection.
Is there like a with Super Smash Bros? I've talked to a couple different people in the cast, and they've been really into it. I think DK Ho was a person I got on. He actually was competitive with it for a long time. And then there was like a bunch of controversies with the scene or whatever, and he left. But he was just saying like, yeah, there's just so much intricate details with characters. Like every character kind of has their really good like pros and cons. But I felt like, and I could be wrong here, but was Melee the game that really does have dominant metas where it's like, okay, this guy's the guy you want to really get good with because he's just going to destroy everyone? Or is there a lot of contrast of like, nah, this guy's going to beat this guy, this guy's going to beat this guy, like a lot of combat triangles?
So there are 26 characters in Melee, and maybe, well, everyone will give you a different number of them that are considered tournament viable, and people will argue forever about it. But like, I don't know, maybe the top half of them can place decently well at tournaments. The same character does not win every time. So it is nice. And there is a bit of that triangle at the very top. Okay. Like there are a couple characters that are considered better against other characters, and like there's a Marth Sheik Fox triangle that supposedly Marth beats Fox and loses to Sheik, and it goes around like that. It's what I think is really interesting about it is just the depth within the game engine and the physics work in a way that like you have a lot of creativity with the way you play your character. So like if you take experienced, like even just as a spectator sport, I think it's fantastic because you can, if you've watched enough, you can tell two different Falcos apart from each other without knowing the players playing them. Does that make sense at all?
It does. I mean, because I did play Smash Bros. I always sucked. I was always Kirby. I would just play Kirby because it was like the handicap monster, basically. Yeah. It's like if you're falling off an edge, which is basically like always my demise. I needed some way to jump up, and I would just do the fucking rock smash all the time. So,
oh, that's a classic.
What I'm curious of is, so like let's just say 26 characters. First of all, just the possibility of balancing all of them somehow to make them all tournament viable sounds like a total headache. But in theory, is that actually possible, do you think? Like, do you think it would be possible to the bottom 13 that really aren't viable? Like, do you think there's ways to up their damage or up their abilities to get in there without like getting ahead of them in a way? You know what so like, is there any way to really perfectly balance all of these, or is it just way too much of a mathematical headache to ever get close to it, of like really having every monster be viable or character?
What's crazy is that 25 years into this game, people are doing new things with characters, and people are like, wait, this character was viable all along? So I don't, like, people make the joke that this game is receiving balance patches just because some guy starts playing a character in a new way and starts doing really well. Like we have a Luigi player recently who Luigi's like very middle of the road, and he might be like number 13 on the tier list.
Okay.
But he's recently been taking matches off of the best player in the world.
So what do they do about that? Is that where they do make the patches, like the decisions to nerf them a little bit, or how does that work? Or is there ever nerfs? Is it just never change? It's just this is what the game is.
There has not been a change to this game and since it was released.
So even in tournaments, they don't touch anything. Like they don't make any balancing thing. It's like just the game as is, never touched.
The only thing The only thing they've done is they have a mod that makes controllers more consistent with each other.
Why would that
And
be an issue?
that's just to because GameCube controllers are notoriously finicky.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But that's just to level the playing field. They've never made any balance changes.
Wow. That what a
Or like
beautiful
modded the
game
game.
then. That's so impressive.
It is a miracle.
Yeah. Holy shit. I thought for sure I mean, I knew obviously the game is just made, and it's like if you have the game, you have the game. But I thought for sure in tournaments, you know, certain characters would be off limits or whatever, or like something would happen in the actual code that would get rid of these certain abilities that over 25 years have been abused or whatever.
There is one technique that has been banned.
Okay.
If you have the ice climbers together and you get a grab, there is a rhythm that you can tap that just makes it an instant kill.
Really? Is it? I mean, it's probably difficult to pull off. And I guess if you practice it over and over, it's
It is
a sheer death.
It is not.
Oh my god.
The difficult part is getting the grab.
Okay.
But they did ban that.
Wow. But so you could still technically perform it.
But what's crazy is that even with that, ice climbers were not the best character. They banned it because it was unfun, not because it was too good.
Okay. So only because if you end up getting the grab and the guy knows what he's doing in order to secure it, it's just a kill and it's just super unfair for the other guy. But you're saying but you're saying that this guy isn't even good in the first place. So like well,
even without it,
yeah.
Well, I mean, they were maybe, you know, 8th best or something. Like
okay,
they're
still, in the
still
top 13.
okay without it. Yeah.
I see. So what if, I guess it wouldn't even be a reasonable thing to ask, but I was just wondering, like, if ice climbers had been like ranked 24 or whatever of it with that ability, that feels very fair to have some guy that really sucks in every possible avenue, but accept this one hold if you can get it. But yeah, maybe that's just not fun. Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just thinking.
I mean, the community is very like, I mean, everyone wants to have fun with the game, right? For most people, they're not like, I mean, they're competing in tournaments, but they're not competing for money. Or they're not expecting to make money, if that makes sense.
Okay. Before we really wrap things up, let me just ask you one more deeper question. Like, in regards to this sort of balancing, have you ever thought of anything in RuneScape particularly that could be a really good change to PvP in a very like fundamental sense of like, is there something that's just categorically wrong with how PvP is in RuneScape that you would that you found or have thought of a solution for? I'm just curious, just based on balancing and the fact that you have played these competitive games. Like,
I do think that, I mean, PvP in RuneScape definitely has cool mechanics, similarly to Melee, like, emergent gameplay mechanics that weren't intended by Jagex. Things like using a special attack weapon as your main hand so that you have access to the special attack bar so you can one tick switch like that. There's no way that was intended by Jagex, but that is now a cornerstone of the meta.
Yep.
So I mean, my
what are your thoughts on, for example, freezing? I mean, the fact that you catch a freeze and it is guaranteed to last a certain duration. Like, do you think there should be RNG elements to that? I'm just throwing up an example of like the fundamentals of PvP that we see in this game. Like, are there fatal flaws that, man, if this had just been fixed way earlier on, we'd be playing a much more vibrant PvP experience because of these clunky things that we all just got used to?
I mean, the fact that Ice Barrage is a 20-second stun, or it would be considered a 20-second stun in another game, that's absurd.
Yes, thank you.
But at the same time,
we've all gotten
the entire game has been right. We've gotten used to it. The game has been balanced around this for 25 or well, when is Ancient Magic? 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, it's the strongest thing by far in Deep Wilderness, and you're probably not escaping unless you can. But I mean, there are also like PVMers use Ice Barrage to, freeze someone, step under, and log out. So I think that I would be, as a developer, I would be terrified to propose any change to PvP.
Yeah.
I don't think that I could suggest a change without getting roasted.
Yeah, I mean that comes with the territory. You're just never gonna be able to please everybody. But interesting,
right?
Yeah. All right. Well, I seriously, I have loved every second of chatting with you today. This has just been great, and I've wanted to kind of pick your brain about some things, and just especially in regards to editing and kind of how you go about video creation stuff. Because now that I'm getting into the thick of it, I am so much more interested in watching people's series. So watching yours was much more of a kind of creative experience for me to like watch how you present your stuff. And I love watching series now with it. And I'm like, okay, like I'm learning my own little techniques, trying to get into it a little bit. So first off, or I guess not first off, last off, I should say, because we're finishing up the episode, is congratulations on such a successful series. And congratulations on also being able to go full time, getting some sponsorships. And honestly, I just think you have so much talent that I'm not concerned at all for the future of what you decide to do. And I think
thank you.
Really, it is like the world is your oyster. Just do whatever is going to be most fulfilling to you. And I think the creative spark will just travel wherever behind you. So yeah, congrats on that. And honestly, best of luck with finishing up the series and, making it feel like a completed thing that, and I'm assuming you plan to make the full, like long episode that everyone seems to do these days, where it's like the series is complete and you just make like the 10-hour episode or whatever.
So I want to, we touched at the very beginning of, on, like, I can't go back and watch the first couple episodes anymore.
You have to have somebody else compile one.
Well, I really want to go full George Lucas and like remaster the first few episodes, and I wouldn't go full George Lucas. Like I'd leave the originals up for
no,
posterity, but I would love to go back, remaster, like do it a season at a time, and make, I'm planning on 4 seasons, so 4 giant, I guess multi-hour long videos instead of one bingeable. And I can make a bingeable one too, I suppose. But
okay,
that is something that I do want to do.
Question about remastering: would it only be like dialogue stuff and maybe shortening up some stuff, or would you actually add clips, because the game has changed drastically?
The game has changed. The biggest thing that has changed is like B-roll is like the tools we have to create now. I'm actually surprised we didn't get into this, but the tools we have now with Creators Kit and camera keyframes, like we can do things within RuneLite that I could not dream of several years ago. I don't know what I'd specifically change, but I just want to like polish everything the best I can.
Oh, that would be one. It's so brilliant because one, it would allow you to watch the first few episodes, and it's just gonna,
right,
as you keep producing episodes, the more backlogged ones you can't watch anymore. So that will help you. But on top of it, knowing that it is remastered and knowing that there will be changes to it, if you've watched the episode, if you've watched the season all the way through, you would have more incentive to be like, oh, the remastered version, I'm definitely gonna watch this.
Yeah, I do have a lot of people tell me they've rewatched the series like 4 or 5 times.
Isn't that
which kind of like blows me away?
Thing to hear.
Yeah, I try to put in little Easter eggs so that people looking on second viewings can see.
Okay, listen, that is actually one thing I did forget to mention during this conversation. I have always had the desire to make something that almost feels, well, I guess there's like 2 different branches. One would be a massive project. It would basically be, do you remember those create your own adventure books when we were kids? Like or not
Yeah.
create, choose
Like
your own
go to
adventure.
page
Yeah, go to this page because you
X if you
decide
do.
this.
Yeah.
I would love to make a sort of series like that where you basically just publish 100 episodes or just 100 videos or something, and it's like you start with one, and it's like you're gonna create your own adventure of this RuneScape character, but what you basically need to do is like create multiple, like just a bunch of different accounts pretty much to show off what you decide to do. But it's all this beautiful interwoven web of stuff that you jump around to different videos and create your own little adventure and stuff. I've always thought how, first of all, how impossible of a task that would be, but how incredibly amazing it would be as the viewer experience to like just be able to kind of choose what you want. You're really interacting with the video. But then on top of that, something that's much easier is Easter eggs, like throwing in things like, for example, when I'm watching, I get recommended Breaking Bad, hidden Easter eggs like on YouTube, and I'm like, wow, like that's so cool that they had the forethought to like think to add this scene or this little thing in there that is gonna have a lot of foreshadowing and stuff. And I think, how much do you implement that, and how much would you optimally want to implement like Easter eggs into series?
Oh, I like sneak in little things every now and again, just when I have a fun idea while editing, but I don't like intentionally be like, I need X Easter eggs in every video. Like it's very much like I think in my last one, I was like grinding a dragon defender. Maybe it was 2 episodes ago. I was grinding a dragon defender, and I had a line about like the Cyclopes, which is the way to pronounce the plural of Cyclops.
I believe it. I get clowned on for saying staves. They're like, it's staffs. I'm like, it's staves.
Oh yeah. But I put a message in the chat box, just like seamlessly edited in, but that's just like, yes, that is the actual way to pronounce this word. And I got some comments on it. Just to like preempt the like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah. I don't know. I was just curious if you ever had like something
Cyclopes.
that's really gonna foreshadow something like crazy.
Now I forget how to pronounce it.
Yeah. Oh, is it Cyclopes?
Or is it might be Cyclopes. It's either Cyclopes or Cyclopes.
Okay.
I don't know.
Let me actually look it up.
That video was a while ago. Yeah.
I mean, regardless. Yeah, I don't. Whatever. It's something weird.
I mean, part of the nice thing about having such a backlog of footage is that I'm able to foreshadow things in the future.
Yeah, I think,
but I wouldn't recommend that. That is not a reason to be more than a year behind in footage.
Yeah. Well, you could just leave that as an excuse. Be like, yeah, I'm trying to fill up.
Oh yeah, exactly.
That's the reason why. Yeah. There's a part of me that like has these ambitions to make something like so in depth where it's like it just has so much replay value to it, where it's like I just want to keep rewatching and picking up these new hidden things that are in there that I'm like, wow, I didn't even notice that, or I didn't notice, like, I don't know, like the fact that he said this, and then it's gonna end up, I don't know, like I don't really know how you do it with RuneScape either, because RuneScape is not, I think I had this conversation with Settled maybe, of what if you were to make a RuneScape series that is basically like a private server kind of, but you're presenting it as if it's the main game, but what you're able to do is kind of control RNG. So you're creating a viewer experience that is completely controlled by you to, it's like, it's just a purely for entertainment series that has nothing to do with the actual like goals that you've achieved, but you're just creating this beautiful story and having RNG stuff like be completely up to you how you decide to treat the experience. But it's so believable that people, because of how you've edited it, it seems like you're playing the main game kind of, but you get to perfectly craft exactly the things you go dry on and the challenges that you have to overcome. And like, for some reason, I think like being able to have full control, if you're a super creative genius, you could just create something that has like endless replayability, because you could just endlessly add like Easter eggs and interesting things into it and just make it like this beautiful sort of viewer experience that you kind of just have to dispel, or what am I trying to say? Suspend disbelief. There we go. Like dispel. What am I saying? In order to like really delve into it. I feel like I'm really failing at trying to describe this. Something is in my head and I'm not being able to get it out, but that idea of just being able to create something fully freely with no limitations on the creator's end.
I think being able to control everything sounds amazing. Like being able to write out your insane grinds and, you know, I think and that sounds amazing on paper. Putting the editing and storytelling aside for a second, how miserable would that be to play?
No. So here is the inside scoop as well that I feel like I failed to mention, but it's so much in control of the creator that the creator doesn't even have to do the grinds themselves. It is purely a private server, like that you have created to appear as though it's the main game. And your audience would probably know that, but if they could just suspend disbelief for a bit and just imagine that this is like the main game, and really like if the creator can tell such a compelling story that you really just get sucked into it, you don't even need to do any of the grinds. You can just decide what your levels are. I mean, so you can be like, man, I really need to get to 90 smithing for this. You can just fucking arbitrarily change your guy to 90 smithing, but you can level it up incrementally where you're like, okay, I want to capture a scene where I'm level 55 and then say, oh, I got to do this for another million hours. But then in your, like on your end, you can just say, okay, I'm level 90 now. And I want to put this much stuff into my bank. And I want to now go kill this thing. And I don't even have to kill it 5,000 times, but I want the audience to think I just spent like months and months, or, 20,000 kills for this one thing that I went extremely dry on. But you only had to kill it once. You just had to get the footage for what you want to do. But everything is manipulatable on the creator's end. And again, I'm not saying I would have any interest in doing this, but somebody that is purely for creativity and not for actually playing the game, how compelling of a story or a video series could you make if you did have ultimate control and none of the time constraints were there? It was just a pure private server of manipulating everything.
I still think it's fundamentally flawed. I still think
probably right, Loki.
I still think that sure, you could be the perfect creative, but
is it the suspension of disbelief that you don't think could ever be actually captured? Is that the thing that's preventing?
No, I think you can get the suspension of disbelief. I think that you could trick the audience, sure, in believing that it is real, but or at least I believe you could trick the audience to believe the gameplay is real, but no RuneScape creator is a master storyteller or creative. We're all gamers.
Yeah, it's true.
And
you wouldn't want to hear from somebody that isn't a gamer, that is purely there just for the vanity of creating
it would be like, yes, it is this beautiful story, but
it doesn't
you're not relatable at all.
Yeah.
Right? Like you're not I mean, it's
fake. It's not real. It's not like they didn't actually experience it. I feel like,
what's the point of making it RuneScape then? If you're not experiencing the game, just make a movie.
Yeah.
Like if you want to control everything, make a movie.
Yeah. No, it's true. I guess it's mainly just a thought experiment of like, is that even something like, when RuneScape series becomes so incredibly high production value, where they're pouring millions into a RuneScape production 20 years from now, where, just everything used to just be filmed on hypercam, and now we got settled, and we got who was there's something that came out that was just incredible, but it was so short. I mean, people have been making like Blender models and stuff. Who was the guy that made like a whole Zammy thing? He basically was made like a short clip of fully custom animated like Zammy, of like the Zammy room or something. It was just so beautiful, but it's like you only had a few seconds of him, and it took him, 100 hours to make or whatever, how long it took. But like
Right.
a full ass RuneScape movie could be kind of cool too. But yeah, just throwing it out there. I don't know. I think of these grand things of like what is the limit of RuneScape content? Like truly, like how
Yeah.
intense could it get? So anyway,
I see it only getting better over the next few years.
it's true.
But
Yeah, we'll have to see how it shapes up to be.
whatever it is, I look forward to watching it.
Yeah. Well, Jeporite, I will leave it here. I greatly appreciate your time today coming on, and super
thanks for
excited
having me.
to see the rest of Northern UIM series. Definitely,
Thank you.
in my opinion, my favorite series that I have watched personally. It's just been an absolute pleasure to enjoy. So thank you for creating it, and
Thank you so much.
yeah, and thank you for coming on today, man. It was very, very nice meeting you, actually, and getting the time to talk. So I'd love to have you back on maybe in a year or so from now, and
Of course.
see how much further backlogged your scenes are and everything.
Hopefully, I'll be a little bit more caught up by then.
Yeah. Well, I will have all your links down in the description, and I'm sure. And I'll also have that clip as well of the LMS scene. So if you guys have listened this far and you guys are not subscribed to Jeporite, go show him some love. Go click on his links down below, and just enjoy his art. Truly, it's just art. So it's just great stuff. So Jeporite, any final words from you before I let everyone go?
I don't think so.
All right. Well, thank you all for listening, and we will catch you in the next one. Peace.